Good morning, YouTube. It's time for Midnight's Edge in the morning. We got our first look at the Little Mermaid. No one cares. And we even got a look at Lady Thor. People care a little bit more about that, but it's been a slow morning, hasn't it, Andre? How you doing?
It has. Well, first of all, I'm doing good, and yeah, it's been a very slow news day, but there's always something. There's always some shenanigans, frequently involving Disney, that we're happy to share with you guys. So we'll have some fun anyway.
As we're going here, you watch 12 Things Will Drop. But anyway, also joining us this morning, at least one guest so far, we have the one, the only Mexican Iron Man. How you doing?
Very well, sir. Thank you for having me. I hear we're going to have some ladies to talk about this morning. Mexican Iron Man loves talking about the ladies.
Maybe. I do know that you, sir, had an epic rant last night.
That's what I hear. I hear
almost every comment on that video is about your rant.
Oh, I haven't even seen the comments yet. I have to go back and check those out. I got some comments?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I can't wait to check them out later. I'm surprised I'm here in the morning. I thought for sure Andre was going to send me a pink slip.
Yeah, no, it takes much more before you get that pink slip.
Golly, I was terrified this morning when I got the message from Andre. Am I available? I'm like, am I available to be on the show, or to get fired, or to get a tortilla whooping?
Yeah, it's like, can you come into my office for a moment?
Like, no, not the big boss. Send Tom instead. Send Tom. Let Tom will take me out back by the taco truck and say, "Look, buddy, the guacamole has not been what it needed to be. The sour cream's not as fresh as it used to be."
The sour cream is gone.
We're gonna need to make some changes in a more Afro-Cuban direction, Mexican Iron Man.
Oh yeah, you're not Afro-Cuban enough. That's the problem.
Yeah. And to those wondering what my esteemed colleagues are referring to, you need to check out Midnight's Edge After Dark, because there was an epic conversation involving Kamran Pasha, Mexican Iron Man, and Paulie, and even Jesse Miller, about In the Heights, the epic urban dance drama that didn't quite deliver and was really slaughtered for its lack of sufficiently diverse, i.e. melanated representation. So yeah. And actually, we're going to touch a little bit on that later, because it is related to one of the first main stories of the day. But before we get into that, we have quite a few people watching. We have Stephanie Janishek, Smuggler's Cantina, who says Mike's rant was epic. Indeed it was. And Miguel Farah wonders where. Yeah, head on over to Midnight's Edge After Dark, and that's where you're going to find it. And Shum pointed out the term that we do not use around these circles unless it is in the most mocking and disparaging of fashions. Isn't that right, Mike?
It is, Shum. You're cracking me up, Shum. I'm trying not to laugh too hard.
We have Prince Andrew is here. Golgo13, aka Brandon the Infinite Wolf, is here. Grand Wazoo 42 is here and also sent us a super sticker, so thanks so much for that. House Atreides is here. Dan Ramos is here. And Six says, I hope the Little Mermaid talk is short so we can dive into the good stuff. So yeah, I think that Six probably wants a repeat. It seems like it. And Kitty Bear Transracial Orc is here. And Ram Bam 3000 points out, can you come into my office? The only more terrifying phrase in English is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yeah. I don't know. You've never been with Andre backstage offline. It can be pretty terrifying, people. I'm kidding.
And then we have is here, and this isn't even my final account. Oh, I like that name. Is also here. And Sander Hammerstag also points out that Mexican Iron Man was sent to the headmaster. Except he actually wasn't. He was just worried that he was going to be for a moment there.
Exactly.
Exactly. And then we also have Hyper Guyver 2, who says, nobody cares about Loki. Nobody cares about Lady Thor. And nobody cares about the Little Mermaid. Disney should be worried. Hashtag without respect, we reject. And yeah, we're about to dive into that momentarily. So hold that thought. And Roger H. also sent us a super sticker, so thanks so much for that. And Rory Mitchell says, greetings, Andre, Tom, and Mexican Iron Man. Hail wrenches and midnighters. Yes, indeed. Hail one, hail all. And Fractal Jack points out that the Little Mermaid will not be a redhead. No, just like Red Sonja, who also will not be a redhead. Go figure. So, again, hold that thought. We'll get to it momentarily. I think there was one more super chat. I'm just going to get into it behind the scenes here, just to make sure so we're caught up before we begin the main stories of the day. And then we have let's see. Oh, actually, we have a few super chats here. Started off saying, hi, gents. Hello, everyone. And Super Blubberpuss says, Little Mermaid remake bad? Melissa McCarthy as Ursula can't be bad, right? Did they actually cast her in that role? Or is it fan casting?
Actually, no, I think she was cast in it.
Not bad, I guess.
No, I can't remember. Honestly, I don't care.
Yeah, no, neither do I. And Dash Attack says for $9.99. Oh, thank you so much. Another day, another out-of-touch Disney project, another creative lashing out on Twitter, and you know who's to blame. Chaos. We must kill Chaos. He's here. The darkness is so thick, I can smell it. And STR Red Wolf says, hail all panelists and, wait, Disney's remaking The Little Mermaid, who in their, insert 3-minute bleep, mind thought this was a good idea. I don't know. Well, I think there's plenty of blame to go around there. And then we have Golgo13, a.k.a. Brandon the Infinite Wolf, who says, Duke Togo approves of Mexican Iron Man's rant. Oh. And Darius Minchhausen also sent us a popcorn super sticker. And Stephen Otten says, let's see if I can bring this up on screen. And also Like a Bill says, Andre is here. Yes, and we're so glad to have here and say hi to your mother that we also hope to be watching. Gundam Warrior 1 says, don't give Disney money. Go watch older movies. Watch something with subtitles. Watch something in black and white and get outside of your comfort zone. Yes, this is good advice. Listen to Gundam Warrior 1.
Well, this is getting me out of my comfort zone.
And yeah, what we're looking at right now,
I just saw Citizen Kane last weekend, guys.
For the first time?
Again,
no,
or for the first time?
I hadn't seen it in about a good 15, 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Man, oh man, it still holds up 2 decades later after the last time I saw it. And that was 6 decades after it came out.
Orson fucks that room up.
God, I love that movie.
I like that movie.
You know what? We should do a new movie at Midnight's Edge New Studios. Citizen Andre.
Yeah, that would be something.
Presiding over the Midnight's Edge Empire.
Oh, well, we'll see what the Midnight's Edge Productions will ramp up as we get going.
Can't be any worse than Little Mermaid.
But yeah, speaking of get going, I just want to do a couple of more of the super chats, and then we'll get into the Little Mermaid. Darius Minchhausen sent us a popcorn super sticker. Stephen Otten says, hello, Andre, Tom, Mike, and Wrenches and Midnighters. Disney, the gift that keeps on giving. Absolutely. And Dash D's says for $5 Canadian, we can regulate CO2, car imports, and folks crossing the border. How come we can't regulate stupid? Mike, get on it. I'll even throw in Putin. Or Putan. I'm not quite sure how
No, I
it's
think you said it
pronounced.
right the
But yeah,
first time.
Yeah, I think
Putin.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my computer's freezing up. Just FYI.
And yeah, with that, let us get into the first main story, because what we're looking at right here are the first leaked pictures of Disney's live-action remake of The Little Mermaid, and the not a natural ginger you're seeing right there. That is the Ariel herself.
Where? Where's Ariel?
Well, apparently right in front of us.
The
At
one
least
in blue?
Disney would have us believe.
The one in blue?
Yeah, the one in the wetsuit.
Yeah, because I don't remember Little Mermaid wearing a wetsuit.
I don't either. And
I also don't remember the Little Mermaid being contemporary or having like surfboards and stuff. But that's kind of what it looks like from these set pictures.
And what's on her head? What is that? An old tire? What is that? Are we making a stand against environmental and plastic and rubber trash in the ocean? What is that thing on her head? What is that?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. And
The Little Mermaid saves the environment by using her head to capture stray spare tires in the ocean? No. What is this? A witch's hat, says her in the steadfast. Maybe. And where's the rest of her hair? Don't they have money for more extensions? Like the Little Mermaid's hair is overflowing and it covers the private secret parts. And I have a funny story to tell you, Andre and Tom.
Oh, do share.
So at Stanford, when I went to college, this is a funny one. So sophomore year, they have this lottery. That's all the housing's done off lottery, and so all the housing is done off of lottery. And what that means is that you pick a number and you pick where you want to live. Well, I pick a place. I get, kind of one of the kind of pretty good places. I move in on day one, and the guy that was there from the summer before, and I don't know why I wasn't painted over. They missed it. I had literally an 8-foot tall on the largest wall going up to the ceiling, The Little Mermaid from the movie on my wall.
Nice.
Like when I moved in, and I'm like, So for 2 years, except for summer vacations, in the room that I had at Stanford, I was staring at The Little Mermaid, and it was incredibly well done. I mean, the guy whoever did it just was incredible. It looked like right out of the movie, and it was like 8 feet high. I mean, the whole scene was 8 feet high. She was probably about maybe 5 or 6 feet of that. This is not her. Who's that?
No, that's her beau. The one that's also a surfer.
Well,
dude.
where's the Latinx representation? He doesn't look Mexican. She's clearly like swimming off the Mexican. She's probably with the red snappers off of the California coast. I'm assuming they're filming this in Malibu. Where's Latinx representation, Tom?
She's not Black Latinx enough.
Yeah, and that actually may be why Disney is worried about this, because if we shift our attention, we'll get back to these pictures and we'll have plenty more fun with them. Like how romantic H.C.
What is she
Anderson.
wearing?
I just love that it's
story
okay
would
that
be
he's
found.
white, though. The white boy's white. But, yeah.
Hey, look, Tom. Hey, I'm gonna take a victory. If we got a white guy in a movie from Disney these days, I'm chucking that one up as winner. Winner,
True.
brother, winner.
Yeah, and that may be why Disney reportedly are concerned. This is something that comes to us from the Disney Insider, WDW Pro, over at Pirates and Princesses. Because over this weekend, In the Heights opened, and it didn't open quite as hoped. And worse yet, it was criticized for its lack of representation within its diversity, because too many of the various Latin actors and actresses there were a little bit too white for some people's liking. And this then apparently has some people worried, because as it's written here, In the Heights collapses at the box office, drawing concern for Little Mermaid. Then WDW Bro talks a little bit about first the box office for In the Heights. It was expected to draw 25 million, but in the end it underperformed with only $11 million. Now, part of that may be because it opened simultaneous on HBO Max.
You think?
But one thing that WDW Pro has been hearing is that Disney is worried about Hollywood's tendency to lump large, disparate groups into a singular thing. And in the case of In the Heights, Tinseltown was hoping for a larger showing by Latinos, who make up about 40% of the audience thus far. However, it should be noted that the term Latino refers to a huge and culturally diverse demographic. In the Heights seem to have focused very tightly on Dominican and Puerto Rican culture in New York. That's not something that has culturally broad appeal with, let's say, Guatemalan immigrants or Buenos Aires elites. The takeaway for film studios shouldn't be that Latino films are more difficult to find success, but that niche musicals are risky. And then we are starting to get into the crux of the matter. Speaking of musicals, the next Lin-Manuel Miranda gig coming up is the live-action adaptation of Disney's The Little Mermaid. While we're certain the Disney marketing machine will ensure the film is part of our world and box office, it is not without controversy. It has yet to be seen how audiences will react to the film removing one of the most genetic minorities from the lead role, namely a light-skinned natural redhead, because they actually are among, if not the smallest minorities on a worldwide scale. Additionally, the score for the original Little Mermaid is widely considered one of the greatest soundtracks in all of animated films. Miranda will need to tread carefully when altering the music.
Oh.
I think that there might be more to it than that. But also, if In the Heights taught us anything, it is that even if you are diverse, even if there is plenty Latino representation, it doesn't help if it's the wrong kind of Latino representation. And that's also one of the takeaways from this, namely, with The Little Mermaid. As you pointed out, where's the Latino representation? Here we have one black woman replacing the ginger. But that apparently right now, if we are to believe this scoop and what Hollywood is saying, that's not enough. Everyone has to be there, don't they?
So do me a favor. Can you slap back that picture, that article again one more time? I want to show you something in that one of those pictures. Just real quick.
Sure. Just
bring
give me 1
up
second.
That
and I'll
article
bring
in
it
the
back
Heights
up here.
Clubs, that box office.
Yeah, sure. 1 second.
Yes, sir.
1
I got
second.
3 little points.
I shall have
make.
it.
For our esteemed viewing audience, Mexican Iron Man has 3 points he wants to make. All right, right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So while we're complaining about not having enough, I see a black dude on the left, a guy with poly skin color in the middle, and a guy with my skin color on the right.
Not good enough.
How is that not good enough? I just, oh gosh. Oh, Lord help me. And then here's the other thing I found hilarious in that article. Second thing I found hilarious. I love how they're talking about, where's that quote where it says, while they focused on Puerto Ricans and Dominicans in the Heights area of New York, they missed out on other potential demographics. Like,
it's right here where it says In the Heights seems to have focused very tightly on Dominican and Puerto Rican culture in New York. But that's not something that has culturally broad appeal with, let's say, Guatemalan immigrants or Buenos Aires elites.
Okay, let's focus right there for a second. This article is so ridiculous. Let's deal with the Guatemalan immigrants. If they don't have money to take a plane to fly here and hire an attorney to legally immigrate to this country, they probably don't have $850 to go see this movie in the theaters, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? All right, Guatemalan immigrants. Okay, I mean, if you're like struggling for water to get across a hot desert and you're hiding underneath an overpass in East LA or wherever the hell in Texas or Arizona, you don't have money for this. And generally, Guatemalans are a pretty small population. In fact, let's go even further. Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, while a sizable population in parts of New York and some parts of Florida, are still a small minority. Let's go to even a smaller one. Buenos Aires elites. How ignorant and lame and, dare I say, I'm going to use a stupid word instead of the Ryan Cannell R word, which is that this is so ridiculous. What about the Mexican Americans or Chicanos that comprise millions and millions and millions in Los Angeles, California, Washington, Oregon, Texas, Arizona? What about that entire market? What about that? That's where the millions are. And let me just say this. So the second point I want to make is how ridiculously lame this article is, because there just aren't that many of them. But this shows you what a vacuum whoever wrote this lives in, because they don't actually have interactions with Chicanos, Mexican Americans, or whatever. And even if they do, they probably think we all are landscapers, gardeners, and we do drywall and we don't do entertainment. Now, my third point is something even more basic that applies to all of us. And by the way, everybody, go see this movie. Watch it on HBO Max. Go to the theaters. You're going to have a good time. All of the politics notwithstanding, you really will. I'm pleasantly surprised, and I hate musicals, and I was pleasantly surprised early this morning at the crack when I watched it. What I'm going to say is this. I think it's fair to say, Andre, that Mexican Iron Man's all over YouTube and tries to keep his fingers on the pulse of the entertainment industry. At least I try to as a fan. I know I don't have my own channel.
I think that's very fair to say, yes. But
I mean, I don't have my own channel. I don't do my own content. But gee, many crickets. I try to bounce everywhere I can and be supportive of all the, like, you guys and everything we do at Midnight Edge Espanol and Midnight Edge After Dark and Latino Slant. I mean, I can keep going with different channels.
We're so glad to have you, so keep it up.
Look, I'm honored to be here. Welcome. But here's the thing, Andre. I'm Mexican-American Chicano. I didn't even know this movie was coming out this weekend because it had been delayed 2 or 3 times. And until Paulie hit me up and said, hey, bro, are you going to go see it this weekend? I'm like, see what? What am I going to see this weekend? What? He told me. And I'm like, wait, is it really coming out or you're just teasing me? He's like, no, it's out already. It's coming in. And I was just like, oh, okay. Look.
This sounds like a failure in marketing.
It's a marketing failure. Listen, and this is my point. They're talking in this article. The Mexican Americans and Chicanos aren't even mentioned in this article. What, do they think that we don't have Dominican friends? That we don't have Puerto Rican friends? I know there's always been some little heat between Mexican Americans, sometimes in Cubans and Puerto Ricans, but good God, most of my brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, that I actually have more Puerto Rican, Cuban, Central American, Nicaraguense, Boricua, Panameño friends than I maybe even have Mexican American friends. I mean, I got a shitload of Mexican American family members. I asked my mom and 2 cousins of mine. I asked my sister. I said, hey, did you go see this weekend? She said, and she loves musicals. Check this out. Okay, see, this tells me what morons these people at Disney and their financial whoever analysts are. This right here tells you this. My sister, to this day, can have nothing bad to say about Star Wars, including the sequels, because she says any Star Wars is good Star Wars. She and I haven't had knockdown dragouts. We didn't talk for 2 weeks, Andre. We had a fight in front of my mom about Star Wars. She loves Disney. She was broken. The only thing she got broken heart of is when they took our family's annual passes away, because we had like 7 of them in the family, right? And they took all of them away when they canceled the program. That's the only thing bad she has to say. Now, is she a Hamilton fan? Holy hellfire tarnation. She saved up, and my sister doesn't make a lot of money. She's not, I mean, she does okay as a professional, but she's not loaded. I mean, she's not like me, right? So she flew both of my nieces, their boyfriends, or their significant others, I should say, because one's bi. And so they took basically 5 people up to San Francisco to go see Hamilton. And she has everything on she loves this guy. She knows his whole life story and all that. And she said, I didn't know he had his movie coming out this weekend. So here's someone who is a fan of this guy, and she loves Broadway musicals. When she flew to New York, she said, we're going to, she said, you got to take me to Broadway. She says, and I told her, I said, it was her birthday. I said, I'll fly you to New York. So I flew her in, for 3 or 4 days, and we had fun in New York. And so my little sister didn't even know this is coming out. Now, so for someone to be a huge, fan of this guy, a huge fan of the musical, a huge fan fan in general, who is Mexican American, who is Hispanic, she also didn't know about it because I had to check myself. I had to do a fanboy check. I'm like, okay, maybe it's because I'm wrapped up in the sci-fi universe that I missed this. Because when Paulie asked me if it was coming out, I was like kind of embarrassed. Like I felt that I had to turn in my Mexican card. Like, I mean, this is right after the Edward James Olmos thing. And I'm like, how did I not know this was happening? And he said, well, Edward James Olmos mentioned in the interview. I'm like, yeah, he did, but I know it's coming out. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking and basically say, Andre, I think this was a huge marketing failure on a variety of fronts. And as someone who's in the finance industry and has been a huge fan of entertainment, movies are made and fail. Movies get made as great and fail this week for a multitude of reasons. A lot of the times it's not for quality content. And I'm telling you, everybody who's watching this, go watch this movie. It's not the best. It's not Grease, but it's pretty damn good. It's pretty darn cool. It's not about Mexicans or Chicanos, but it is cool about Latin culture. And I think you guys are going to have a blast. So go check out the movie. But if it didn't do well, Andre, what say you to what I just said?
No, I agree with you completely. I think those are some very salient points. That it's mostly marketing and awareness, because honestly, I had no idea this was coming out. Like, I only learned about it when Paulie started talking about it, and I saw the video on Midnight's Edge After Dark. Before that, it completely escaped my radar. The sad thing is that I was more aware of the controversy than I am anything else that has to do with In the Heights, which again, that's a marketing mistake, because this is something that's been released on HBO Max. It's like a big Warner release. Everyone should have known. And if Disney are afraid for The Little Mermaid because of it, then I say, is this the first time you get scared? Because you should have been for a long time already.
Yeah. I mean, here's another thing that I'm going to say to these guys. Hey, whether it's Disney or Warner Brothers or whatever, whatever iteration of whatever studio, if you can't figure out how to market, I'm trying not to laugh. If you can't figure out how to market a Hispanic movie to Hispanic folk so that Hispanic folk might turn out, how do you expect the white people to turn out? I mean, I think probably Midnight's Edge After Dark, Midnight's Edge, and probably Latino slant as channels will probably make a bigger dent in what the box office numbers will be than anything that they may have not tried to do.
Very, very possibly. Before we move on, I just want to say greetings to Ben Saxon, that just became a new YouTube member. So welcome. And also, speaking of welcome, let's welcome back Tom and see if his computer problems have been resolved. Tom, are you with us?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
You better watch that latest update, bro, because when I did it, man, it kept restarting my computer on me.
Well, I have to keep restarting it because of that update.
Yeah.
And then last night when I was trying to work on the video that dropped this morning, my program would crash for no good reason, just out of the blue. It seemed like on clockwork every 15 to 20 minutes or so, roughly. By the time I figured out, it's like, yeah, it's about an average. So it was probably doing it at the same time every time. I was just, anyway, picking up on the pattern. No, gotta love Windows. It seems like all they're doing is updating to fix the last update, to fix the last update, to fix the last update. That's been like ever since I've gotten this computer. So, I don't know. Anyway, I'm done bitching. What were you saying about In the Heights? Other than The Little Mermaid's going to suck regardless of what they fucking say?
Yeah, I think that's actually a really, really good point. Because here's like the thing. Who is interested in The Little Mermaid? And Tom, can you bring up the pictures again? So we segue back to that? Or
do you really want me to try?
No, I don't. Actually, I don't want to try to do that. If anything, I want you to send me the next picture, the one that we're going to go to afterwards, so that I have it and can bring it up, if possible.
Yeah, I'll try
Send it to me on messages.
I can't even get a folder to come up right now. So.
Well, he's trying to do that.
Or another window.
Andre, so you didn't know this was coming out either, and you're very much in tune with stuff.
I had no clue.
Golly, that's
not just. I can't believe you haven't heard it because your wife and all that stuff. Like, I would think that she might be aware of it, but maybe not.
No,
but bro, I'm telling, and my sister's all over this guy as a director, and so I mean as a producer. I'm telling you, she didn't know either. That tells me how bad and little marketing it is. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something else. When I went to HBO Max, for it being a weekend premiere, it wasn't on my main screen.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed too when Polly first brought this story.
Did you have that problem?
I went while we were live talking about it, and I brought it up. I'm like, I had to go into the app and go into their newer movies and all this other shit, and it was like the third or fourth movie listed there. It wasn't listed as like a premiere, wasn't advertised, nothing.
Right, and I know they know I'm Hispanic and a male, and I mean I'm a paint. It just baffled me. I'm like, how is this not? I mean, God bless Amazon. Whatever algorithm they run, they just asked me if I need to like reorder rock candy for my espresso machine. Which I actually did need to reorder rock candy for my espresso machine, but I digress. The point of the matter is in a world of algorithms, how was this not on my screen? I mean, how did I even not get it? I'll tell you this much. Here's something interesting. You guys know I'm a Snyder guy. Okay. Midnight Said stream. Do not fire me and cancel me yet. Okay. All right. I'm a huge Snyder guy.
No, it takes more than that.
Okay, well, I'm a huge Snyder guy. And let me tell you, the days leading up to this thing, I got blown up on my phone, and especially on HBO Max. I mean, I even got the one, would you like to see it again? It's coming out in black and white. Would you like to see that? Are you sure you don't want to see that? Hey, why don't you take a look at this? That came out a few days ago in black and white. So I know it's possible, but somebody just doesn't care. And you know, at the end of Tom, something really interesting happened on your show last night. I had to go back and rewatch this little segment a few times. It's what Cameron Pasha said, which is what he said on his way out the door. You remember what he said, Tom, on his way out the door?
He grabbed as much shit as he could.
About Spielberg?
Not offhand, man. I'm dealing.
Oh, okay. Let me.
Sorry.
Okay, I didn't want to steal your thunder, but I'll go ahead and repeat it for the crowd here. Cameron Pasha made the observation. Says, "Look, you guys, I know how Hollywood works."
Oh, about West Side Story. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It was your show.
No, please do, because my computer is really pissing me off.
So you guys, you got to watch Tom's show last night. There was just a lot of good stuff, and Cameron was woof. He was in his typical Midnight Edge rare form last night, and what he said on his way out the door, I thought was absolutely fascinating. Which is he said, you guys aren't even thinking about West Side Story. We're like, huh? What does that have to do with anything? And by the way, I wake up this morning and Rita Moreno's getting like slam-basted 15 ways from Alabama and Twitter. I got in another rant this morning, everybody. It's on Twitter if you want to watch it. But they went up to Rita Moreno, Andre. Bad.
I'm not surprised.
Okay, so anyways, I digress. So Cameron says this. He says, look, guys, Steven Spielberg has West Story, and that's coming out. And what's going to happen is that this movie is not being supported. It hasn't been supported. And it's going to, now you have this colorist stuff going on. This is Cameron basically said, look, when the Spielberg thing comes out with West Side Story, they're basically going to say, okay, because it's Spielberg and because he's, what did Cameron call him? The prince or the king of all studios?
He's the king of directors. Like, yeah, I mean.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because
king of Hollywood, I think he called him.
Yeah. And because of that, it's going to be, the narrative's going to be, okay, Steven Spielberg knows how to do a movie for the Latinx population. I'd say Hispanics, but they don't even use that word anymore. I'd say Latinos, but they don't use that word anymore. But as Cameron said, facetiously using Latinx, as Cameron said, this is going to be how a Latino movie gets done. Steven Spielberg knows how, and West Side Story is going to get pushed, and that's going to get the right marketing.
Well, and that's because he's using his platform. That's why.
Yeah. Also, on that note, just to back up what you said, Mike, points out the chat is talking about the fact that Rita Moreno is getting criticized for defending Lin-Manuel.
Yes.
So how sad is that? So
sometime last night, I woke up, I'm on East Coast time, and I tend to get up pretty early. And I got up early this morning because I wanted to see the movie. So I got up at like 4:35 this morning, East Coast time. So I look at my Twitter notifications and I see Cameron going back and forth. And I usually keep Twitter off, and I usually have my notifications off, but I have it on, sometimes. And so I turn the app on and it goes ding, 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 ding. Well, if anyone liked the rant I did last night, wait till you see the rant I did about Rita Moreno, because this woman here was a personal hero to my aunts who raised me. I was raised by a single mom and my two aunts. I never knew my dad. He took off before I was born. But she was a personal hero. I mean, We had, yeah, and in fact, when I went to college later and talked to one of my aunts about it, she told me, "Well, what, she said, why don't you get involved in dancing?" And so I ended up doing a little bit of dance in college, and I ended up doing some theater work, as both at the Stanford campus and in the community. And I mean, I'm not doing that stuff anymore. Lord knows I can't dance for Hellfire Tarnation right now, but she Puerto Rican, had a huge impact on my little Mexican-American Chicano family, and she's a role model and hero to my aunts. And what the hell, she's only done things that have supported and empowered women in the right way, in my opinion. And here's a woman who's strong, powerful, influential, and completely feminine, all at the same time, and a phenomenal talent, artistically, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. So it's
what really sucks is that even when she got a little personal and said, "I appreciate him telling my story," she regards this movie as her story. By the way, that's it's either in an article that I saw on Twitter that Cameron brought up or something like that. But she in an interview, I can't remember where the hell I found. I'll find it, but she basically says this is her story, and they're still going after her. And she's Puerto Rican. I mean, what the hell? She's Puerto Rican. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand. It's sad. This movie, I think this controversy that came up was just more reason that they're just trying to bear it. But hey, guys, just because we're talking about it, just because Mexican Iron gets a little ranty, go see it. I saw it this morning. It's a lot of fun. Show some support. Go spend some money. Go get some popcorn. You'll have a good time. You can take your girlfriend, boyfriend, other friend, whatever your preference is, and you can definitely take the family for sure. Well, and some of the crap that's going on screen these days.
I've heard mostly positive reviews about it, and Paulie brought up a lot of interesting points about it last night too, along with you guys. And
yeah,
what I kept saying was like, there was that Scott Mendelson article, and I don't know if you saw that, Andre, but that thing was more of a detriment to the movie than anything, because it called it out basically for not being woke enough, and then it compared it to a bunch of movies that it shouldn't even be comparing it to. And you have
I never saw that one.
Yeah, it's a shit article, and that's the one that
it's from Scott Mendelson. So what else?
Yeah, it's the one Paulie and I broke down, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
Oh yes, I did see that video. Yes, I did.
And it's like, if anything, he's going to hurt this movie's chances, and I hope he's proud of it. And it did. It probably didn't help the movie at all. Like you said, already nobody's aware of it, and a lot of the awareness that was coming out of it was negative. And a lot of it was because it wasn't woke enough. And then you had this, the interview we covered last night, which you've been talking about. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Because the first question that comes out of that chick's mouth, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, well, but again, for people that haven't seen it, say what you're talking
about. What she basically complained that there wasn't.
There wasn't. No. What do you mean? There was an interview. There was an interview with Asian director John M. Chu about the movie, and the first question he was asked was a setup. It was an outright attack. That's a setup. What was the first question?
Well, Mike, you remember it better than me.
Yeah, sure. She says, more or less, it's like this. As someone who is of African and Cuban descent and has that background and that history and my background, I would be remiss if I didn't ask this question. I'm trying to do it with big red lips here because it was very distracting, this interview. And she says, why wasn't there more representation from an Afro-Cuban or darker complected backgrounds? Da, 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 da. And then homeboy says, well, first I needed to get educated in this issue, and I was really not really informed, and I wasn't very well briefed. But we talked about it a little bit, and before we released the movie, and and then he proceeded to apologize, and I can't even go. I'm gonna get triggered again, so I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, basically, he was taken to task and held accountable in the very first question from a Black Latino interviewer for not having made the movie that we're seeing the stills from right here in this picture not diverse enough. Because she didn't feel represented, or rather because he didn't cast her in it. So that kind of was the conversation going into the movie, that Nice attempt, but not nice enough. Do better. That's kind of like what Hollywood was saying. Isn't that the message? And maybe that's why Disney is worried about The Little Mermaid, to take it back from that, because maybe they thought they were plenty diverse by changing the redhead woman into a black woman, but maybe it's not diverse enough either, because you can only represent one person there. So think of all the other different varieties and diversity that won't be represented. Could that be why Disney apparently is worried from the reception of In the Heights as pertains to the future of The Little Mermaid? What do you think, Mike?
I think you're 100% on point. I think that's 100% accurate. You know, and I find all this a bit comical because, well, you know, if you want more black representation, you want to see more movies. Like, okay, let's go rent a Tyler Perry movie. There's about 40 of those. They come out like every 3 months, like clockwork, anyways.
Well, and I brought this point up last night. I'm like, the reason Midnight's Edge Espanol, part of the reason it exists is because in America, the second largest viewing audience is Latino. And they make up over 30% of the viewing audience.
And mostly Mexican American.
Almost 40%, you're right.
And almost exclusively Mexican American, because we're like 88%, 85%. No, wait, what are we? We're 78% of the population that's Hispanic.
And when we had Taylor Hackford on for the Blood In, Blood Out reunion, he brought up a point that I brought up before too, and that was that La Bamba is the highest grossing Latino-led film. And if you do the research, he's right. Because unless you count Dora the Explorer, none of them have grossed anywhere near La Bamba. And La Bamba came out in 1987. And that's including inflation.
Wait, would you say not adjusted for inflation or adjusted?
That, you don't have to.
Oh, shit. Snap. Are you serious?
Yeah, even Selena basically kind of tanked at the box office. It did all out video, but yeah, like...
Well, this goes to back up what Mexican Iron Man says, which is that we brown folk love our white folk in all their movies and all their... I mean, we're not... we don't only want to see stuff that's our own stuff. I mean, it'd be nice if there was more. I mean, it's been 20, 30 years, like Edward James Olmos said. I mean, I love Blood In, Blood Out. By the way, Taylor Hackford is as Mexican or more... He's probably more Chicano than I am, because I grew up in a bad neighborhood, but I grew up in a bad, diverse neighborhood. You know, some of those guys, the writer and stuff like that, dude, they're like very. They even speak Spanish. I'm going back to our interview. I thought it was awesome. You know, it's like the movie American Me. You know, he has that one guy. He's his right hand. It's his right hand guy, and he's a tall white guy, but he speaks Spanish fluently. God, what was the name of that actor? The bald guy. Oh, he was amazing.
Well, I can't think of it now either. But yeah, like, and then that's what I was pointing out is like, is this. And then you finally get a movie that is representative of the Latino culture. And what does she bitch about? It ain't black enough. It's like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no wonder Disney are worried about The Little Mermaid, because again, you can only have one there. And think of all the ones that won't be represented.
And I checked those two, Yellow Flash. They did not gross as much as La Bamba did.
That is unbelievably sobering. I am just literally floored that is still
the only other exception you can make would be the Spy Kids movies, I believe, but those are not, I think, complete Latino castings. So even that you could make an argument for, and I think that's only maybe the third or fourth, whatever the third one or whatever it was that was in 3D. I think grossed the most, but even that was still like only 100 something. Million. So
it's a wide open opportunity for hint Midnight's Edge Espanol movie studios, Andre.
Let's get the channel up and running and self-sufficient first, and then
that'd probably be a good idea, right, boss? That'd be a good idea.
The idea is a solid one.
Let's try to get enough money in so we can like pay the monthly YouTube bill, or whatever.
The idea is a sound one. Speaking of paying bills, we have a couple of super chats that I want to go through before we get into the next story. Dash D's says, anyone who performs on the Electric Company and has the career Miss Moreno did shows who this lovely lady is. And she didn't go on to be Geordie LaForge. No, that's exactly right, because he kind of sold out a little bit.
Dang, that's a good one.
Yeah. And Richard says, I'm Puerto Rican, and Mexican Iron Man made a point that's very important. Latinos and Hispanics are not big on representation. That's all Twitter BS.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Yellow Flash does have a point with Mark Azzaro, but it doesn't have a Hispanic director, and it was produced by Steven Spielberg and all this other bullshit, and half the cast ain't even Latino. So, like, yeah, I mean, there's another argument that could be made for that one, but
and the sequel was still ruined by Alex Kurtzman.
Oh, it's awful.
But that would be the only other exception, maybe.
So yeah, and then I have to go in behind the scenes here to find the rest of Super Chats before we move on. So now I can't bring them up on screen anymore. So you're just gonna have
being
to...
here with you guys on the morning show, now I know what Andre says when he says the thing jumps and stuff like that.
Oh, yes.
God, hey, you guys, I got to tell you, as a longtime fan who watches all these different channels and shows, you know, when you've got like we got about 1,400 people watch this now, but whenever it gets north of 200, 300, 400, I didn't realize it, but doggone it, this thing just jumps like a mother.
Yeah, it does. And when the Super Chat has jumped off screen, it's gone everywhere but here behind the scenes where I can still see them.
Yeah. Good job, boss.
So, yeah, well, cheers. And then Hypergiver 2 says for $5, you are now aware of your breathing. You're now aware of your blinking. You're now aware of a random itch somewhere on your body. Enjoy. Yeah, as I'm sure Disney enjoys being aware that, oh crap, their Little Mermaid might not be diverse enough and flop because of it. And Silver Nova says, why does Disney keep trying to destroy their own previous work? Is it a strange variation of Stockholm Syndrome? Well, it's some kind of syndrome, but remember, Disney of today did not make their own previous work. Disney of today thinks their own previous work, made not by them, but by past generations of executives, is problematic. Here's like the thing, a company is not one entity. It's a series of people. And the people that made the Disney classics, they ain't there anymore.
Well, and part of it also is because of home video. It used to be that, they would re-release, they had the specific, I can't remember how many it was, but the OG, whatever movies that Walt made, and then there are a few other hits they had since that were put in the vault and brought out every so often, that wasn't working anymore. Because once disc came along, kids didn't wear discs out unless they destroyed them. And they became more readily available, and people weren't going to see their re-releases anymore. So they're like, well, we need to do something different. And so they decided to start making live action movies of the cartoon classics. And I think a lot of that stems back to how well 101 Dalmatians did with Glenn Close. That was like a fluke. They just did that as a thing. That was not because of what I just said. But since that did well, they're like, well, we could do this with all our movies. And since then, it's just been this endless slew of them. Just like, back in the day, they decided, well, we're going to make sequels to all of them, because that was the way they tried to reinvigorate them. And then after 2 or 3 sequels, they realized, oh, we've tarnished the brand. So this is like nothing new, which is sad, because you could actually go back and trace a lot of the shit that Disney has done to Star Wars on the way to doing with Marvel and other things back to what they did with Disney's original classics by pumping out sequel after sequel in the 90s and aughts. Like, when I had my video store, that's every week there was a fucking new Disney sequel. Bambi 2, Little Mermaid 3, Cinderella 4. Like, every week it was one of those. Nonstop.
Yeah, indeed. And
so they're just churning them out, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
And moving on from there, Dark King says, I don't have time for films with all the Midnight's Edge stuff. Oh, thank you. I would like to believe that you make the correct prioritization, but In the Heights is worth it. So see if you can't find the time for that at least. I believe that Mexican Iron Man approves of that message.
I think he had to scratch something.
Yeah, well, I know he approves of it. And moving on, Nicholas Horton says for £5 British, Ariel is a redhead and wears a seashell bra. That's just a surfer girl. Yeah, that's
some
very
hippie
true.
girl.
But again, that's a current year. Ariel is a surfer girl, I guess, because a seashell bra, that would be problematic in all kinds of ways, I'm sure.
Well, at least the guy who did the voice of Sebastian doesn't have to watch this crap. Sadly, we lost him a couple weeks back, and
Oh no, I didn't know that.
yeah, it just happened here a couple weeks back.
Yeah. And then says for $10, thank you so much. The level of expectation for The Heights was unprecedented. For a film meant to celebrate life and culture, none of the life and culture in it was appreciated. Yeah, and that's really a shame, I have to say. But again, that's when the Hollywood press decides that wasn't woke enough. And then the things that are celebrated just aren't good enough. And Alphonse 365 says for $20 thank you so much. Title: Little Mermaid in the Hood. Or at the surf, because that's what it looks more like if you ask me. But yeah, we'll see how it turns out. And Ben Saxon sends us $5 with no message attached or message redacted. But we thank you for your support.
Wait. So if The Little Mermaid is a modern day version, so it's basically Coming to America.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like in the still.
Oh Jesus, no.
Well, if you stop and think about it.
I have a question. Aren't they? You know where they're filming this at? They must be filming it in Southern California, right? They have to be.
It looks like they're on the beach somewhere. I can't tell where.
But I don't know. But let's just call it for what it is. Let's say it's Southern California. I have a question. Where's all the homeless people at? Because I was just in Venice before driving out to South Carolina. I was just in Venice. I was just at those beaches. I was just in Santa Monica. And son of a gun, there's homeless and bottle cans all over that beach. Where are they? Yeah,
someone sent me some pictures of that.
Have you seen it, Tom?
It looks like a fucking war zone.
It is a war zone. I had to stop by one last time before I left California because I used to have a house there with my ex-wife, and I used to be, and I had an office. I told you guys on the previous stream, I had an office at 6 in Santa Monica, downtown, conveniently located across the street from Hooters in very typical Mexican Iron Man fashion. But anyways, but I had to see it one time because I had so many great memories. Bro, disaster zone, tents, bottles, bricks. It was nasty, gnarly. Muscle Beach was non-existent. It was awful. It was gross and disgusting all over the place. It literally looked. You remember that scene? Do you remember that movie that came out? What was it? Battle for LA, like aliens invade, and
Vaguely,
they stormed the beach. It looked like that, man. There's like trash cans everywhere, tipped over. And you know what? I've said that like, God Almighty, have I made the right decision to get out of the state? Because I have not realized, being in California, I hadn't realized what a crappy ass, the stressful. You think it's like basically every day you wake up to survive that day and that week and feed your family and do whatever you got to do. Since I've been in South Carolina, I enjoy every day getting up. I work better, sleep better, and man, it's awful. Where are the homeless, Little Mermaid? Maybe the Little Mermaid can solve the homeless issue.
Maybe in either event, she doesn't look like she's in Denmark, which is where the story's kind of supposed to be.
You think? you think?
Look at this stuff.
Isn't she originally like? I mean, I don't think she's Norwegian, but isn't she originally from up there somewhere?
Denmark, yeah, Denmark is a Danish story.
It is a Danish story, right?
And the statue of the Little Mermaid is outside of Copenhagen, Denmark.
Oh, come on! Are you serious?
Now I've collected a
no, for real. It's a classic old statue.
No.
I truly have everything.
Also on the glorious state of California, or as I've heard it lovingly be referred, California, released a McCracken recommends everyone check out the videos from A German in Venice.
Oh, I just found a new channel to subscribe to.
And apparently it's bad in Venice. So yeah, I'll be sure to check that out. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So she found a white boy to check his privilege. Good for her.
Do you think that she's going to help him go through a journey where he's able to realize all of the things that he has not done for fish rights? Like he should feel guilty for eating all the fish he's eaten and,
well,
all the scallops.
And then they'll shame him at the end for fetishizing her. For not only being black, but a fish. She's a blackfish.
Got it. Okay.
And he can't say anything about her fishy smell. And if he refuses to be attracted to her fishiness, then he's the problem.
Well, I can tell you this much. I don't want to say that. No, I can't say it on this channel.
I probably went far enough.
Well, I'm censoring myself. Look at me. I'm censoring myself.
I'm surprised we didn't get canceled last night. That was funny. But anyhow.
I'm Mexican Iron Man talking. What are they going to do? I'm actually Mexican. I mean, this is me. What are they going to do?
I'm fish phobic, says KS.
Yeah, maybe I'm racist. I don't see enough white people getting a break in Hollywood enough. Okay, call me racist. I don't know. I don't know. Arsist. That's what we say. Arsist.
No, I didn't watch the Aladdin remake, but I didn't call that, when they said Will Smith is going to be in it, I'm like, you watch, there's going to be a rap version of You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me. And that was in like the first trailer or whatever. So I don't know if the rest of the songs were the same as the old movie, if they did any new ones. But
no, there was one new song, and
that's just so they could try and get an Oscar.
That was like the vocus of them all. The rest are I liked the Aladdin remake. I have to admit that
I've heard most people say it was the most.
That was good, and I would not mind a sequel. I would much rather they make an original sequel to that than continue their trend of making other horrendous live action remakes. Because the Aladdin remake was actually, of course, the animation is much, much better. But given that it's a live-action remake, the Aladdin one wasn't bad. And you absolutely could continue that in a story. Jafar was so good in it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, guys, there's 1,300 people watching, like Max says. We only got 400 likes. Hit that like button.
1,400 people.
Huh?
Actually, closer to 1,400.
Hey guys, as a fan, please hit the like button. It really helps the video. The algorithm totally responds to interaction in order to promote the stuff. It will really help Andre and Tom a lot. Just take a split second and hit that little like button on the video if you like what you're hearing, because it really will help these guys with the algorithm. Because these days, anything that's Hollywood and entertainment related, it just gets squashed and doesn't get the same number of views, right, Andre? It seems like it's all interaction now these days.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of like what it is. They've done something to the algorithm to favor like the industry sources. So like you're going to get the trailers, you're going to get like your colliders and stuff like that. That's what you're going to get when you look for something else. You have to look for. So it would be a huge help if you could hit that like button. With that, going to go back to some of these here super chats.
Andre, while you're doing that, I got to take a quick 3-minute break.
Go for it.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Ben Saxon says for $5. Actually, doesn't say anything. He just sends a message, but thank you so much. Or thanks sends the donation, and then says for another $5. I love The Heights. It had the best music I've ever heard in a musical. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I heard good things about the music. And Marilyn's Id says for $10. Thank you so much. Made by Disney. It won't be funny. Won't make much money, I guarantee. Just buy into the woke lie while talentless directors on Twitter cry. You will snore because it's Boar made by Disney. So yeah, some nice poetry there. And says for another $5. The chat is talking about the fact that Rita Moreno is getting criticized. Yeah, we got that one, and that's.
I think that song was supposed to be to Under the Sea.
Maybe.
Made by Disney.
Yeah. Ah, yeah, that could be. Well, I don't sing, so
made by Disney. And I can't read the private chat because Chrome sucks ass. Please, Windows, will you quit updating my computer?
Yeah, Windows likes destroying the computers when they feel it's time you spend money on a new one.
It's the new one's just going to do the same thing.
Yeah, eventually. But,
That's what I'm saying. Like,
unless you invest a shit ton of money in it. Like mine is 4-year-olds now and as good as new, but it was pretty
well,
expensive.
Mike might be right on the Apple business, but that's the thing is I'd have to relearn everything. And
Yeah. Meanwhile, moving on, Rocky Desert Flower says for $4.99, maybe they let heights fall so they could promote TLM in articles like this. Studios allow some movies to fall for overall success. Maybe, but I don't think so. I think instead, I think this is a case of the lunatics running the asylum and the woke mob having woke mob, I should say, just going completely nuts and getting in one of their frenzies. Best I can think of. And Gran Wasu 42 says, can we get some sort of Mexican Iron Man and Paulie emoji? These guys are great and would deserve one. That's a great point. We shall make that happen. Paulie and Mexican Iron Man emojis coming right up. As soon as we are able to get them made, but they're coming. And says, Moreno has a film coming out, Just a Girl Who Went for It, this year. So yeah, hopefully that one gets better market than this did. Dash D's says for $5. Well, yeah, we got that one about the lovely Miss Moreno. And the last millennial says for $4.99, hi gang, great to see Chicano Tony Stark here. I think we can agree the end of Disney would be catering to the Twitterati and them wokies. Well, sadly, that's appear to be what they're doing. And Rambam 3000 says for £5, if you can't relate to anyone in a piece of media who doesn't look exactly like you, you're clearly lacking in empathy and maybe soliphistic. Yeah, maybe. There certainly is issues with that. And I'm just going to do a quick refresh here before we get into the next story, and that's a real hoot as well. Let's see where we were. Yeah, here we are. Daniel says, Little Mermaid is my favorite Disney animated movie of all time. I'm of Puerto Rican descent, and I'm deeply offended by this blackwashing. Not Ariel. Yeah, I think many people will probably agree with that. And Chuntsechian, I probably completely botched that pronunciation, but anyway, Chuntsechian says, Disney can kiss box office of The Little Mermaid a goodbye in Asia. China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and other countries are hating it. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
well, and that's, I think, another reason why we're partially seeing some of this swing away from China. They didn't see the return they were hoping for, so fuck it. They not only that, it doesn't go with their political agenda to cater to China. So, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm more depressed at some news I just had come across here that I sent you, Andre. We may have lost Trey and Matt from South Park now. They're editing Book of Mormon, taking out what are considered more racist jokes.
I'm going to bring it up on screen.
For fuck's sake.
I regret that I didn't see that when I had the opportunity.
I know, I just saw this now, yeah.
I'm going to bring the story
This
up on screen here for everyone. This was not the second story that we had planned. This is much more heartbreaking, of course, but hey, what can you do? This is then in Deadline Hollywood. And this is something that broke now just a short while ago. And it says, a possibly amended The Book of Mormon announces November Broadway return. Well, is it amended or possibly amended, or isn't it? Obviously it's amended. Otherwise, why would you put it here?
Huh? Wait, I'm back. What happened?
They're cutting the teeth out of the Book of Mormon.
which is is from the makers of South Park, and
Yeah.
Well, we can.
I
saw this in New York years ago. Like, God, when was that?
Well, let's get into the story. It says
Okay,
right
sorry,
here,
boss.
The Book of Mormon, the Tony-winning musical comedy by Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Robert Lopez, will resume Broadway performances at the Eugene O'Neill Theater on Friday, November 5th. Blah, 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 blah. Will begin rehearsals, blah, 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 blah. The irreverent show's depiction of Africans has been a much-discussed topic in theater circles since matters of Broadway's entrenched racism took on renewed scrutiny following last summer's Black Lives Matter protests. I'm just going to mute you there, Mike, because I think you're tapping a bit loud on the... oh, yeah, thank you. Moving on with the story. In a People TV interview last July, original cast member Josh Gad, asked about the potential film adaptation of the musical, said, "I don't know that show could open today and have the same sort of open-armed response that it did then. It's not to say that it's any less significant or wonderful or incredible a musical. I just think it's the nature of art to adapt. I would certainly hope that with a future adaptation there would be that growth, because I think it's a cool opportunity for growth. Any changes would also apply to other productions of the musical. Mormon will resume performances at the Prince of Wales Theatre in London's West End on November 15th and resume touring." So basically, they're going to make the changes everywhere, not just in the US. The topic was not specifically addressed in the reopening announcement. And yada, yada, yada. Let's see. Scott Rudin, previously a lead producer on Mormon, is no longer on the production team, making Mormon the fourth formerly Rudin-produced production to announce return or opening without him, blah, 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 blah. Well, basically, story is that Book of Mormon is now all of a sudden problematic in its depiction of Black people, and because of that, it has to be changed, not just in the US, but everywhere. Tom, how excited are you to see the Book of Mormon when it returns in November?
Well, unfortunately, I've not had the chance to ever see it before. It's been a show I've wanted to see since I've heard of it, since I'm a huge fan of Matt and Trey. And now that I hear this, I'm like, oh no, because this probably means this is the version they're going to get ready for the eventual movie. Because we all know that this is the movie that'll probably win Trey and Matt the EGOT, because that's all they don't have is an Oscar so far. And I just hear this and I'm like, oh, great. So we're going to get the truncated version. Isn't that kind of part of the entire joke of the show, though, is that these two Mormons go to this like remote African fucking village? Help me out here, Mike. I haven't seen it.
I'm a little stunned. I don't know what they're gonna do to. I mean,
well, I can imagine they're probably going to go to Wakanda, where the local population are going to look down upon them for being such primitives and show them how society really should function.
Oh no, Andre.
Like Cartoon Man says, so joking about Mormons is okay, but Black people not. Well, that's the thing, and that's why they butted heads with. Well, not him personally per se, but Isaac Hayes, because Isaac Hayes was a Scientologist, and they didn't understand why all of a sudden when they did the Scientology episode, he had a problem with that, but didn't have a problem with them making fun of everything else.
Here's like the thing.
Well, it was people behind him.
Have a problem with it. It was his handlers.
I was getting to that, and so we found out later. But yeah, so like again, I've always known them. Like everything's on the table, nothing's off limits. In fact, I quote their famous episode all the time: either everything's okay or nothing is.
Go ahead, sorry.
No. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm just trying to draw an analogous react. Andre, I didn't know that we were gonna do. I didn't know about this. So I'm just reacting live. Okay. So let's just say, for example, you watched the Phantom of the Opera back in the day, and now that comes back. So what? Now that the Phantom of the Opera is going to be in Venice, solving problems with his operatic voice with the homeless and the Black Lives Matter marches. I'm just trying to think like Les Miserables. Is that going to come back too? I mean,
It's too depressing. They want a new ending.
Okay, Mexican Iron Man is speechless. Do you know how hard it is to get me to be actually speechless?
Well, I guess we found a way.
I think Andre's right though. I think that's a possible kind of approach they might actually take. I think that actually is very realistic what you said, Andre. That's not my dog.
Sadie's not happy about this.
Nope.
Wow. Is there no ends to the hypnotic enrapture Mexican Iron Man is broken? I think I may. This may have just set me over the edge because while I'm not the biggest musical, well, maybe I am a big musical fan. I guess I have seen almost every major musical that's come out, but that's because I like, I love stuff. I live close to San Francisco and have, live close to New York. And, wow, is there nothing sacred, Andre?
No, of course not. The only thing that's sacred is like the keywords that the modern day brown shirts like to use, like their slogans and everything that they celebrate. That's sacred, but nothing else. On the contrary, everything else must be altered to fit into what they consider to be sacred.
One of the people in the chat, I think it's DB Martin, made a comment, said something about the remake of Les Mis would be Venice Beach because that is miserable. That is miserable nowadays. Oh man. Well, what are you gonna do? We just gotta get. Life happens in cycles, and I have to believe that we're nearing the. Well, I don't know, Andre. Do you think we're nearing the end of this cycle of hell, or do you think this is going to go on for another 10 years and just get worse? Do you think there's a 3 to 5 year horizon where maybe we're going to recapture back the ability to do great storytelling again, or not?
I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
No, Andre, no.
Well, he's right because we had a shift. But then the last year just kind of set everything back like 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, because part of this whole like disconnection from China is part of that shift, part of that change, I believe.
So you're basically saying, and I think you're right, it's going to take a while to unseat ourselves. It's going to take a while to unseat ourselves. And I guess you're right. When Cameron was on the show with you guys, was it last week or the week before? I can't remember. I guess it was the week before.
No, week before.
Yeah, and that was something that you guys talked about at length. And I think Andre, when you were talking with Cameron, you made the comment, or you guys were talking about how Hollywood can be a titanic, huge ship or like a aircraft carrier. It's not something that can turn on a dime per se.
No.
And so things that we're reacting to now, Tom, it's like we'll take, for example, Into the Heights. The Steven Spielberg, West Side Story, and Into the Heights went into production at the same time. So when Cameron Pasha mentioned to us that there's some competitiveness probably afoot there, it made total sense because they went into production at the same time.
Yeah,
exactly. My go-to example is actually Birds of Prey, a movie that now came out a little more than a year ago, but Deadpool came out 5 years ago now, and you can tell that Birds of Prey, that was a movie that was greenlit right between the release of Deadpool and prior to the release of Ghostbusters 2016. In between those two, that's where that movie was greenlit, and then it was almost 4-year turnaround time from there to actually getting it made. So it's like from a decision is made till we see it on screen is like 2 years at least.
We got to buy Mexican Iron Man a quiet keyboard.
Yeah, I think we have to chip in for that.
Oh shit! Okay, I'll switch it up.
No. You're fine.
No, it's fine.
I do have a more quiet one.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. Let's
Yeah,
give
but
it a
I
shit.
think we've said everything we have to say about
Yeah,
the
it just-
story.
it's-
So
disheartening because I mean the last few seasons of South Park have been shown a little wear, and I hope this is not their choice so much as it is some pressure from somewhere else, perhaps.
yeah. Speaking of pressure for somewhere else, let's
Oh.
hear what Jesse Miller has to say about the Book of Mormon. Hey, Jesse.
Took the day off. How you doing?
Yeah, I stayed home sick today. Wasn't feeling
Oh.
great when I woke up.
Nightmare on Elm
Oh, the
Street
rough
started.
show last night.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I love Freddie. But I don't know, man. You get guys like Trey and Matt Stone, or Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They've turned everything to gold from goofing off, and yet they're going to try to change them. The whole movement of this whole woke thing, it's an exercise in how to lose as much money as possible and your future revenue as well. It's not like they're just cutting off a current revenue stream. When they destroy a franchise, they're cutting off the revenue stream for the entire future. I don't understand it. I think that this whole thing with them, with the Chinese money, that's a very good sign because they're going to kowtow less and less, but you're still going to have all these brainwashed people over here with the SJW crowd trying to get onto this thing to try to push it to where they want it to be because that's what they think is good and that's what they've been told is right and blah, blah, blah. They don't know they're brainwashed.
Yeah.
But,
do you think Trey and Matt bought into this shit, or you think they
no,
just being
God,
pushed?
no. God, no.
I didn't think so, but I don't know. We'll see.
The first
No, I
thing
don't
they
think
probably
that-
thought
I
was,
don't-
who do these people think they are?
Yeah. I don't think that they are the ones that are making these changes. I think you have other people that are more involved with the daily running of the show that are freaking out.
Well, yeah, and I already know. Here's the thing: is I know we're never going to get this movie until the show's done. They've already said that they're never making another movie while the show's still in production, because after they made the movie of South Park and Team America, they're like, nope, not again, not until after the show's done. That's I think part of the reason why they've been half-assing, like jokingly, trying to get the show canceled.
You know, my question is, how are you going to go in and try to change a show, especially the end of a show, when you can't get tickets for this? You can't just go and say, oh, I want to go see the Book of Mormon. Well, yeah, you could go see the Book of Mormon in 6-7 months.
Yeah, it's not an easy show to get into.
But this is what we're going to ruin now. Good job.
Anyhow, yeah, it's hopefully it's nothing too big, but
They should make a South Park about it.
they might. You never. Well,
Dude,
if they
tempt
do,
them. Don't
I was
tempt
gonna
them.
say if they do, then that clearly tells you how they feel about this situation.
It'd be Broadway Bro Down Part 2.
Uh-huh.
The broining.
But anyhow, you did say we had another story to touch on, Andre. But
Yes, we do. We do have
first?
another story, and we're going to do a couple of more super chats before we get to that other story, which will be the final one for the day, unless something else breaks. But before that, Mags says, PSA, support local, support independent, support self-published work. That's how we win. Yes, indeed. Very, very good message.
Speaking of, I got
right there.
that Umbrella Guys comic in the mail the other day, and Mandy sent me some of her Worth the Wizard cards. So I finally got those. So that's
Yes,
speaking of,
check out What the Visage. Absolutely do. Absolutely do that. And with that, we have some more super chats. I can't bring them up on screen, so you're just going to have to listen as soon as I find it, because it jumped on me here behind the scene as well. So good times. Let's see. Where were we? There we were. EVA Unit 4A says for $5. Disney better be scared. I'm an Ariel-holic since 1989, and I won't touch this new movie. No view count, money, free promotion. F. McCarthy. Hashtag ME. Oh, thank you. And Poison Dart sent us 50 Danish krona. So, tusen takk for that, but there's no message. Maybe he didn't send any. Maybe he did say something about how the Little Mermaid is Danish and it got redacted. But
Probably
we
did.
Thank you. We thank you for the support.
hey, check it out. I can buttons work. I can work. My buttons are working again. Yay! Just out
Hey!
of nowhere.
Nice.
And Brian
nice,
Barth
very
asks, or says, rather, maybe Trey and Matt are going to turn it even worse version of Book of Mormon and will offend even more. I would love to think that was the case, but there ain't no fucking way anybody's going to let them do that.
Well, they can if they just
can,
change
but
the settings sufficiently. Then they just have to, like, if say for instance, imagine that they go to China when China is the one protected.
Oh shit.
That could be hilarious. Imagine what fun they could have with that. I mean, you saw what they did with the Chinese guy and his building walls and everything. So
no, they didn't say anything about changing the most controversial song either, though. But they did.
Well, we can always help.
Well, how does the Book of Mormon end? Because I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either, so I couldn't tell you. I just know what it's about, and I know a couple of the songs. I don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil the ending here. We're just going to say find a recording and see it how it was before they tone it down, before Matt and Trey can go and change it.
I wonder if there is a
that is made up right
out there.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, but they don't like any of this stuff. They make fun of it all the time. I can't possibly see them changing it to something to appease someone. It seems more like they'd change it to really twist the knife. You know?
Well, maybe it's being done without their involvement. Like, that's where I'm curious how close they are to this.
That's what I'm thinking too. I don't think that they have any involvement in these changes, but we will see.
Yeah, is that part of it? Like, let's say that you, Andre, wrote a show right now and it was good, and they wanted to pick it up and put it on Broadway. At that point, do you lose all those creative rights because they're putting money up for it?
That depends a great deal, but to a certain extent, yes, you are going to, unless you have an absolute ironclad contract, and very, very few do, because you're going to have to work with others. You hand in the script and stuff like that, but it's someone else that puts in the money, and it's a significant amount of money to make it happen, to make all of that happen. Very few people have such ironclad contracts that they can't change them later on. I mean, they can fire writers, they can fire the quote-unquote directors, all of those things. So I would be surprised if Matt and Trey had some kind of deal that meant that their work could not be altered. I think that the producers that stay with the show, they don't want to change it because they want it to be authentic, same way that you haven't really changed Les Miserables or anything like that. Like, these plays are iconic. People know what to expect. They don't want to change too much with that. But at the same time, if the producers decide that, you know what, this is something we have to do in this day and age, I don't think there's one thing Matt and Trey can do to stop it.
That's sad. See, I was just hoping, because they've been in the business for longer and they've been through many contract renegotiations with South Park and they did basketball and Orgasmo and yada, 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 that, you know, maybe they'd have a better, more experience going in, so to say, and they might have gotten themselves a better deal. But if there is no better deal to be had, that's just downright scary as a creator.
That's how it is. Quite a few times there is no better deal to be had. So you just have to deal with it. And with that, more super chats,
please.
Stone Cold 10X says for $5, I'm Latino and I don't care about representation. I love James Bond. He doesn't need to speak Spanish to be cool to me. And Dash G's says for $5 to be fair, the actress needs a wetsuit for her underwater shots. Health and safety plays games too, referring, of course, to the Little Mermaid. So yeah, but I think that they probably went further than that.
Yeah. And David Stout, one of our members, says he's having issues sending a super chat here, but he has a statement he wants to make here. Point. He says, Andre and Tom, I'm LDS Mormon, and this is sick woke shit in this. Andre, do happy hour of 13 Warriors with Drinker. Love you guys. I think he wants you to do a happy hour.
I'll suggest it. I'll suggest
Yeah.
it to him. Of course, Drinker is the one that has to invite me. But if he likes that movie, I don't know that he does. But it would be awesome to have him, me, and Kamran Pasha do it. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
You know, I read the book Eaters of the Dead, and the movie 13th Warrior wasn't that bad as far as a adaptation.
Yeah, and also as a standalone movie, it's pretty cool as well.
My favorite part is when he turns to him and they're like, "How do you understand us?" He was like, "I listened."
Yeah, I've never seen Norwegian learned that fast in my life, because those are Norwegian actors, and the language that they're talking is actually Norwegian. That's my language.
Really?
So yeah,
that's
really.
Cool.
So I was like, funny. It's like you hear like they're talking English, which I understand, and before the language that's foreign to you is my native language. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, no, they're Norwegian actors talking Norwegian, and it's funny when you recognize them for like other roles in Norwegian comedy and stuff. Especially
it would be weird to see somebody in a comedy, then they're like a balls out Viking.
Yeah, but these guys are like from the Norwegian equivalent of Mad TV and stuff. Like not literally, but
wow,
like
really?
the equivalent. Oh yeah, for sure. I'll send you some links.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And then Ben Saxon says, I messed that last message up, but I would be interested to know if the same marketing team behind Solo also handled In the Heights and Mermaid. It would not be the same marketing team that handled In the Heights, because Solo is a Disney movie. So that was handled by Disney marketing, whereas In the Heights is Warner. But The Little Mermaid is Disney, so chances are, unless there has been like a huge change of staff, there's going to be at least many of the same people working on the marketing for The Little Mermaid that also did the marketing for Solo, because it's the same marketing department that will handle both of them. And Melwood Belliard says for $5, the white actor you're thinking of is William Forsythe. I don't remember the context for the question, but I'm sure that is the correct answer. And Gaming or What TM sent us a $3 super sticker of a cute little doggy, so thanks for that. And Straight White Mage says, want representation? Cast Jessica Alba as the Little Mermaid. Heard the heritage about 6. All us Americans are mixtures, whether we admit it or not. Yeah, I'm sure Jessica Alba must have some Danish in her as well.
Hey, look, real quick, I'm a white guy, right? That's what you call me. I got 6 things in me. I'm English, Irish, Russian, and Polish. I'm also a quarter German and a quarter Jew. And yes, I said Jew as a peoples. There's nothing but mutts in the United States. All this identity politics stuff, it's so ridiculous because all they're doing is trying to put people in the boxes so that they can play them against each other.
Yeah, there is no greater melting pot on the face of the earth than the U.S. There is no place more diverse.
I didn't know me and Jesse agreed on so many things.
Yeah, and Dr. Coffinail is really in me. Yeah, right from behind. Sorry, I had to do it.
Yeah. And also on that note, Uncultured Barbarian, we can bring this one up on screen, says, I'm black, grew up in the 70s and 80s, and don't like any of this race-swapping woke garbage or affirmative action. I find it to be insulting.
It is. You really should be insulted. Every time, look, the thing that really pissed me off more than anything with all this racial bullshit is when you go and you watch a Disney movie. You know why? Because everybody who's voiced by a black character is a caricature. It's no different than back in the day when they had Heckle and Jekyll. It's worse actually, as far as I could see, because it's not 1940 anymore. Get with the times.
I agree with you completely, Jesse. You're completely right, brother.
I mean, do you want every Mexican character to just be like, running out like a bandito with like fucking 2 revolvers and a poncho on, and it doesn't make any sense?
Look, I love the movie Three Amigos, but I'm not trying to see it, every time, every place, everywhere.
Yeah. Thank you. It's like, yeah.
It's not dark.
It gets me frustrated to the point where I stop speaking because my brain is just like, don't even think about this anymore.
Exactly, and Mags also points out Mutt here too, Jesse. And I'm trying to remember, what was it? Slancha? Was that what it was?
Slanja.
Yeah, that's like the Irish for cheers.
Mm-hmm. Slanja, Salute. We use all of them over
now.
here.
Do they show the show? Now is the show Cheers called that over there? But I'm just curious. I don't know. Anyway, you said
that's a
Cheers.
good question.
I don't know. Back on topic.
Back on topic. Melvin Belliot clarifies Frederick Forsyth. Sorry, my chat was behind. Mexican Iron Man was talking about the white actor from American Me. Oh, there we go. Yes, that would be Frederick Forsyth. Indeed. Well, then, glad we clarified that. And Max clarifies, it's Slancha. Yeah, but I wasn't too bad, was I? I was close enough for Norwegian. And
everybody knows your name and you're a little dead inside.
Yes.
Yes.
The German, the like Norwegian version of Cheers is very, very boring.
And if you get desperate, there's always barflies.
They just stand around staring at each other all day.
Being polite, no doubt, right?
Let me buy you a beer, Norman.
Let me buy you beer.
Let me buy for you a beer.
Yeah, like people loosen up once you have like a few more of those beers.
I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah.
I'm sure by the end of the night, y'all are singing Norwegian drinking.
Well, the thing is that every other country has real beer, and the United States has watered down beer. So I would assume that Cheers in every other country is probably a hell of a lot funnier.
Might be. I'm sure that I'm curious if they ever did other versions of Cheers in other countries. Because normally we import our comedy here. We steal everybody else's idea, but that was probably one of our.
If they do it with the Wheel of Fortune, they got to do it with sitcoms.
Of course, I say that now, and then we're going to find out that Cheers is actually based on a Norwegian show or some shit.
No, but here's like the thing: you have a ton of shows which are remakes of various international shows, but it goes the other way too. There are a number of American shows that have been remade several places across the world. Big Bang Theory, for instance, has like 2 or 3 different international remakes. I think one of them is Russian. But I don't know of any Norwegian remakes of anything. But yeah.
Well, if they touch How I Met Your Mother, I'm going to lose it.
Well, as long as they fix the ending.
Why did that guy grow up into Bob Saget?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just so he could ask to fuck his ex-girlfriend. Why is he asking his kids? I don't understand.
That whole show is a pooch screw. They go through how many seasons of that show just to say, I met her at a party.
Seasons, it felt like
8 or something like that. Yeah.
He's like, at the end I met her at a party or something. Like totally innocuous and had nothing to do with anything that came before. It's just, I just randomly met her. It's like, why did you tell me this story? Did you just want to brag about all the women you slept with or mom?
Oh, that's why I put that in that last video of Andre's, even though there's other people bringing up all these other worse show endings. I did get a quick shot of Lost in there, even though people brought it up. They must have missed it.
Yeah.
Seasons 1 through 4 of Lost are excellent television. 4 or 5 and 6, it's just they took everything that was blatantly obvious. They had taken all these different things, right? And usually you got this problem of you can't meet up all your little lines for your ending, right? It was obvious with Lost. They had set up Jacob. They had set up what was I think called Frank, the smoke monster, right? But they came back to the point where Jacob didn't want to do it anymore, and Locke was the obvious protector of the island, and he was in tune with the island, and blah, blah, blah. So then what do? Locke kills himself. Great ending. Just great ending.
I'm so glad I checked
the
out
island
after the
disappears
first
to someplace else, and they were all in purgatory.
The worst one
smacked my head. It was so piss poor. They could have just wrapped it back around. Locke becomes Jacob, and the whole series becomes secular, and then they could do it to the end of goddamn time. But they weren't smart enough. They had to just ruin it.
Yeah, Andre, you missed out, brother.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
you're fine, Jesse.
I'm quite happy I checked out when I
I
did
still
it.
say the
It was
worst one of all
season in.
time has got to be Roseanne when they did that.
Oh, the remake Roseanne?
No. The original ending. Well, the remake, we don't even want to talk about that because that was like, oh, good, you're finally undoing that old ending, and then they fucked it all up again.
The lottery winning ending.
Yeah, yeah. And then to me, that was like the worst turn in television. It's like, how can you do that to your characters?
Yeah, then you walk out to a picnic table, and Dan's been dead for 3 years.
Yeah.
I never watched
bad. It's like,
I never
wait,
watched
what?
that show.
Well, in that last episode, she's getting into like ninja fight on a fucking train. It just went off the rails. And then like, and then of course, Andre, I know I have not seen Dexter yet, but that was a show I wanted to get into until I heard everybody.
No, I have seen Dexter.
I said I haven't.
Oh yeah, you have.
I was going to get into it, but then I heard like you were telling me, like everybody was saying, the last 2 seasons or whatever went to shit.
Yeah, the last 3 actually.
Or 3 or whatever.
Yeah. So it's like the first half of the series, the first 4 seasons are actually the first 2 seasons are great, and you stop after that because the season 3 is like a little bit of ain't correct. It actually has Jesse Borrego in season 3, and he was great in it. Jimmy Smith too. So that's actually the season is very good just for that. But yeah. But moving on, Marilyn's Id says Aladdin's original song inspired the Proud Boys. And General Sod says...
They were so upset when they found out the leader of the Proud Boys was a black guy.
And General Sod says Sod demands more Mexican Iron Man. Hire this man.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Long time no talk. Thank you.
Just FYI, Andre, my buttons froze up again, so you're on your own.
Yeah, fine.
Mexican Iron Man's going to be very busy doing all of our taxes this year. Okay?
Yeah.
You can do taxes of people in other states, right?
Yeah, I have clients in. I have 2 clients in Australia. One in. I mean, not just states. I have clients in like probably 6 states and.
Well, I think you have 1,200 new clients, so you better get some coffee.
I thought everybody's going to hire me for personal rent consultations. For $5 to Andre and Tom, you can buy a Mexican Iron Man personal rent video.
You're going to have enough to start a Mexican Iron Man tax service and just have to hire a bunch of people to help you. There you go.
I have 7 employees already full time.
Well, you're going to have 700 by the end of the year.
Uh-oh.
You watch.
Look at this guy. All successful and a real person.
All right, let's get through these super chats here.
Oh, there's some good super chats, Andre.
Yeah, they are indeed. Hypergiver 2 says The Little Mermaid is literally a fish out of water story. I'll see myself out now. And Freaking Jedi says, is there any ethnic group more represented or more underrepresented in Hollywood than gingers? Do you put these on a podcast service like Spotify or iHeart? Well, I think you're for the first part. No, there probably isn't anyone that's less represented than gingers. And for the second, if we put these on the podcast service, not yet, but maybe we'll do eventually. But we do put them on another YouTube channel, Midnight's Edge Live Archives. So you'll find every single upload after the fact there. And Tsukuyomi99 says, I will never understand why people think these people are oppressed when everyone is bending over for them. Well, yeah, that's how bullies act.
What do you mean, these people? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And I'm a Unicorn says the true end of this cycle will come when the MCU crashes and burns in all its glory. And yeah, keep it up, and we'll get there in no time. And Tom Bramlett says, no one likes a Tolkien character when blackface goes wrong. We'll see how that works. And David Stout says, hey guys, can't send a $5 super chat help? Well, he said that for a $2 super chat, so we thank you for that. And I do believe we addressed that, Tom, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So I don't know what's up with that. If it's YouTube, if it's something on your end, it's hard to say. My first step would be to call your bank or whoever your card's through, and then if that don't work, then otherwise I couldn't tell you, man. And it's hard to say. There's people that run into this all the time on YouTube.
Yeah, I had a problem before when I had to re-put in all of my cards into everything on my devices, and I don't know why. I think it was an update, and then it just signed me out of everything.
I did an update in Apple. It did the same thing to me last about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Got a lot of updates.
I think that's probably when I had to do it because it was annoying because I tried sending a super chat and it was like unsuccessful. And I was like, oh, great. Mm-hmm. Okay, so my super chats go through my iTunes account, which goes through what card, which goes through. Yeah.
Either way, we appreciate the support. Either way, even if you couldn't send a $5,
and we did get the message on screen.
Yes, we did.
So yeah, thank you.
And don't forget the likes, everybody. Make sure you hit the
please.
like button.
Yeah.
Let YouTube know you like us.
Yes, and Cartoon Man 154 says dress the actors in censored outfit for that section. And then we have Dash D's who says a Canadian civil incident is the fight that happens after two guys insist on holding the door. That's
I'm sure
for you right.
I can speak
there.
for Script when he'd say, "Yeah, that's probably true."
Yeah, but Mr. Tickle Trunk, he carries on. He says a Canadian civil incident can also be two people fighting over a single parking space. You take it. No, you take it. Come on now, here, bud. You take it. So, yeah.
No, pal, you take it.
Again, that's Kennedy for you. And also, Dash D says, I'm putting Jesse up for Sabretooth for Wolverine.
Ooh, nice.
I'm not tall enough, but I do have 2 copies. I think I still have 2 of Iron Fist 14, which is Sabretooth's first appearance.
Oh,
yeah.
It was easier to find those than it was to find Wolverine Volume 2, Number 10, which is where Wolverine and Sabretooth fought each other for the first time. And that's back when Sabretooth was still wearing a brown jacket and dressing like a person, as opposed to his typical Sabretooth costume.
Yes, very cool. And
Jesse,
also David Stout. Carry on, Mike.
I was just going to say, it would be epic, Jesse, one time you turn on the screen and you have those long-ass claws attached to your... We got to find you some cosplay claws.
Look, I thought a million times about how to make these things. You'd have to have a gauntlet. You'd have to have it big enough to go around your forearm.
There's somebody's already done that stuff, actually.
Like, I'd want to have it, but he used actuators. I want to use garage door springs or something similar so that it's not something that will run out of juice and you need a backpack for.
Talk to Culture Casino. He does that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Who's got the forge where we can make actual claws?
That part I don't know.
That's
what started out as an innocent Mexican Iron Man joke has turned into a very frightful incident.
We're going to get Jesse some claws. No. Why do I see this as a bad idea?
Midnight's Edge, Practical Effects channel.
We're going to have 20 videos of Jesse just slashing shit up with claws. But anyway, David Stout also says, thank you guys here. He says, with another $2. So, yeah, you can send the $2, but for some reason having issues with the $5. We appreciate that, though. Just the same.
We really do. And but speaking of appreciating, there is... also something we don't necessarily appreciate quite as much. And I'm going to see if I can't bring this up on screen here. Come on, then. Cooperate. Why won't this
Maybe you're having
cooperate?
issues now. How great.
Yeah, that would be amazing if I'm having issues too. But okay, we'll see what... No. Oh, there it came. And then pain in the ass. One more time. Come on, then. Come on. See if we can make this. Again, it's Windows for you. Here we go.
Is that how you talk to Mrs. Midnight's Edge? No, I'm just kidding.
No comment. But
we also have somebody else in the back who looks just like me. Now you're not going to help Paulie with this whole idea that I have clones.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody.
I do not sound like that.
Hi, everybody.
I do not sound like this.
I'm the clone. I am Tom Clone. Hi, everybody.
All right. You want to play this game? All right. I can't change your picture. You're lucky because my buttons aren't working. But yeah, this came across this came across my transom yesterday. I believe Mikey Sutton posted this first, if I'm not mistaken. But this was a leaked T-shirt design, And we get our very first look, if you want to zoom in there a little bit, Andre, if it allows you to.
Well, I will see if I can.
On the left there of the one, the only Lady Thor.
Works.
There we go. Yeah.
Does it work? Yeah, it works.
Boy, Hemsworth's looking a bit like Frankenstein's monster there, though. But
no, he looks. He doesn't necessarily look like Thor, but he does look like a good Viking with a big axe and everything. So that's pretty cool.
So yeah,
He reminds me of Calico Jack and his two wives.
Yeah, that's, you can interpret it that way. But notice that he is holding the battle axe, who's a Stormbreaker. Is that what it's called? I forget the name of it.
Yep.
Whereas Lady Thor, that we got our first look of here, she is the one holding Mjolnir.
I have questions off the bat.
I have a variety. You first, Jesse.
Okay. The hammer. Okay, Mjolnir. He who holds this hammer shall possess the power of Thor. Mjolnir has no power. It's a medium to channel the power, which is Thor's. That power was taken away from Thor, hence the inscription on the hammer, and he got it back. So that means if Thor is still Thor and she picks up the hammer because she's, worthy enough, does that mean that it's going to degrade the amount of power he has because it's siphoning his powers off to her?
Well, when Captain America used it, it didn't change his power setting at all, did it?
See, I don't remember how that went down in the movie because in
the
comic books it was in fear itself and Thor was already dead.
Yeah. No, in the movie, the only thing that happened was that Captain America, he could wield it, but it didn't give him any powers beyond that. So
that's not even right. That makes no sense.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't make no sense because they changed the rules from movie to movie depending on what each individual story fits. So for this one, they can change it so that you actually do get the power of Thor, so that she gets it. Of course, Captain America evidently wasn't woke enough or worthy enough to get it, so he could use it, but he couldn't get the power. And Kitty Bear Transracial Orc wonders in the comments, wasn't the hammer destroyed? And yeah, it kind of was. The only reason it worked in Endgame was that they went back in time to collect it from there, and then off-screen after the fact, Captain America went back to return it.
But then if we go by the rules of Loki, then wouldn't that, since they're technically in a new timeline, then wouldn't that Mjolnir not work?
Who the hell knows?
I am so confused, but Jesse's right. The only reason it worked that way in the first place is because that's what Odin said to the hammer, remember?
I have a problem.
Yeah, I forgot all about that until you just brought that up again, Jesse. That's the only reason it was ever like that. It had nothing to do with anything else. Yeah.
Now let's say I go back in time because Thor's hammer was destroyed. That's my motivation for going back in time to get the hammer, even though I'm planning on replacing it later, right? Once I've gone back and gotten the hammer still exists, and therefore I never had any reason to go back into the past to get the hammer because the hammer wasn't destroyed in the first place, right? So they try to write themselves out of a corner by saying I'm pre-planning going back and replacing the hammer to get destroyed so that I do have a reason to go back and get it so that I could take it temporarily so that I could bring it back to be destroyed.
Pretty much, yeah.
That is the worst thing I've ever heard. Because it's like begging for a paradox. And once that happens, now you have timelines.
At
the very least, they created multiple timelines doing this. Like at the very best, it's just a paradox and someone needs to be resolved.
I think you just made my brain explode.
Dude, I love time travel, and this is just
I do too,
it's
but
just the wrong way to go about things.
I don't know. But now
this is the Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey time travel rules.
Huh?
I think you just broke Pauly.
When they're like, well, we're going to go back and we're going to set up a cage, right? And then he's like, well, we're going to go back and set up a key. Well, we're going to go back and set up this and that. It's stupid. It's just all stupid.
Flex capacitor live.
Now, Mike, you had a question or two, too, you said. And I don't know if I got an answer, but.
I guess I'm just curious because maybe I don't remember my comic book lore, but where's all his homies at?
They
They're
disappeared.
probably all dead. Probably
Yeah.
all died. They're all gone. Like the only ones that made it into New Valhalla or to New Asgard, I believe it was, situated in Tønsberg, Norway, which incidentally is also where. Yeah, no. But anyway, Tønsberg, Norway. That's where it was situated. The only one we saw there was, of course, Thor himself and his. The woman to his left, our right, namely the one from Thor Ragnarok, Valkyrie.
Wow.
So yeah,
In Endgame, all the other Asgardians were murdered on the ship by Thanos.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
look,
And
all
they were
I'm saying is
problematic.
this: if I'm gonna go into battle, I don't know if I'm taking these two with me. That's all I'm saying.
Human shields are okay.
Well, I mean, the one on the right, which is Thor's left, she doesn't seem prepared for battle. She may, I don't know. She should be in Pilates classes right now or something, or I don't know, back at the
Hey,
lair.
that's Tessa Thompson. You show some respect.
Well, I don't know, bro. I'm not.
Yeah, but if you
You're right,
remember,
she might not be dark enough. So
she drinks way too much, so she'll be first into the fight, so she'll distract a few of them. Natalie Portman, I wouldn't even use her as a human shield because anything would go through that girl.
Well, the problem with her, she's so thin and little. I mean, you're gonna have a hard time aiming at a thin, moving target. It's like aiming at a stick figure.
Yeah.
She might actually get through the defenses. You know what I mean? She's so, turn sideways. No one will see you.
I just got a picture in my head of her swinging the Mjolnir, and it just like takes her, and she just like spins around and falls over.
It's gonna be like, boom. She's gonna be like, boom, boom, boom.
Well, I think probably we're bringing a little bit too much reality into the discussion here.
yeah, because she's got fake muscles.
yeah.
Remember?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
sorry, Andre. I was just
So,
thinking about gravity, brother.
She's a vegetarian. She couldn't even pick up the handle of that thing.
Oh,
yeah,
Can
but
we,
again,
Can we be happy that at least Thor's in the foreground? And
He's not dark enough, Paulie.
oh, that's right.
and Paulie, you and I talked.
This
We're
is
going to
all-
recast her with black Latina X with the red lips.
And no, you're wrong. He's actually
Mike,
not in
you've
the
been
foreground. He's
screaming
behind
for
them.
2 hours, and I waited to get on because I knew you were done screaming. But if you're going to keep screaming, let me know.
Wow.
And actually, Paulie, no,
I'm
he's
just
not in
saying,
the
brother.
foreground.
I'm just
he's
saying.
in the.
Wow.
He's behind them. If you look, he's behind both of them. Look at the
Wow.
cape on the right, and look at Lady Thor's is clearly in front of him on the
The
left.
problem is, I don't know, guys. Are you excited about this visual? I don't know. Paulie, are you excited about this visual?
I don't know, man. This is
again, keep in mind this is a T-shirt design, but
Yeah.
probably an actual still photo is going to look something like this, presumably.
Well, let me put this up there. Andre and I are probably the only two people on YouTube who defend Ragnarok all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, I had fun with Ragnarok.
I liked Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And looking at this, I was at first, I'm like, I'm willing to wait and see what Taika Waititi is going to do. But I think he's done lost his mind over the last 2 years.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he's able to repeat what he did with the Ragnarok, or if this is just going completely off the rails.
But
To me,
time
this
will
looks
tell
like
on
false
that.
advertising because this shirt, it looks like the side of a van in the 80s. This looks like Thor and his bitches. Then you're going to go in and you're going to see Thor is the bitch.
Yes.
And we'll be lucky if he's not Lebowski'd.
I mean, exactly. I'm kind of was looking at the positive. Well, at least he's not Lebowski Thor anymore. But I mean,
I kind of liked Lebowski Thor though.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
didn't
for a
mind. He was
minute.
more like the original Thor, who was quite well maintained, let's say.
Okay. How bad do you want a copyright claim today, Andre?
Yeah, let's stop sharing this if that's
No. I've got something else that will get us a copyright claim.
and I got
Just
something that will
dropped.
give you. Yeah, me too.
Paulie's got a thermonuclear warhead.
No,
Yeah,
I just
okay. Who wants to go first?
I love that attitude.
Well,
Go
let's
ahead,
do the
Sally
other one.
Forth.
Let's do the other one first because that's going to take less time. That's not as big as
no.
mine.
Go ahead, Tom.
No,
Okay,
trust
well
me.
then we'll do the other one. I'm quite aware.
Let's
of
do the
this
Lord of the
theory
Rings one.
already. Yeah, let's do the Lord of the Rings one. And this one
Because
is,
at least the other one we can cut off if we have to for the live one.
Yeah. This one here, this is actually a story that I've been quite familiar with already. Namely, that a few months ago, the Tolkien Society, they announced that they were looking for basically scholars and everything like that to critically examine Tolkien and diversity and come up with a whole range of topics, trying to force some pathetic political correctness in there. And now we're starting to see the result of that. And this article is then brought forth by the Daily Wire. That has the headline, Transgender Realities in the Lord of the Rings, Facing Accusations of Racism. Tolkien Society to focus on diversity at seminar. So yeah, this was the seminar that I was talking about, where they're going to go through their findings after desperately trying to read some modern day political correctness into Tolkien. And that's the gist of what it is. So then the question is, what kind of goodness have they found? And we have a couple of headlines for the talks and everything. And here are some of the highlights. Because among the speakers and topics to be discussed at the seminar are Cordelia Logston, Gondor in Transition, a brief introduction to transgender realities in Lord of the Rings. Another one is Pardoning Saruman, the queer in Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. And yet another is projecting Indian myths, culture, and history onto Tolkien worlds, and the loss of indigeneity, identity, and anti-racism, also in Tolkien. And Sarah Brown has a talk called The Invisible Other, Tolkien's Dwarf Women and the Feminine Lack. And then, brace yourself, queer atheists, agnostics, and animists. Oh my. And finally, something mighty queer, destabilizing cis-hetero amatonormativity in the works of Tolkien. So, yay, loads of things that they've been able to read into that. So, what are your responses to this? And Polly, we're going to have you go first since you found the story for today. How excited are you to learn of all the diversity they suddenly, out of nowhere, were able to find in Tolkien?
I already signed up for the seminar. Me and Mexican Iron Man are attending every panel, and we're trying to get on one of the panels as well. Latinx and Mexicanx coming together in the second age of Tolkien.
Fake it till you get in there, Polly.
Orale.
Yeah.
I don't think, dude, don't bring your wife, though. We'll blow your whole backstory out.
Oh, I know you're kidding. Hey, what's this charge notification? I just got on my credit card, Polly. Hey, I thought this was a joke. What's going on?
No. This is for real. I use the company Mexican card and got us in on all the panels, and in the name of Midnight's Edge, and
I don't even know what the dates are. I'm booked that day, Paul.
No, we're going. We're going. We're on every panel. We're attending every panel, and like I said, we're actually in talks right now of creating a new panel, Andre.
Latinx. Which yeah, the Latinx panel.
Yeah, it's Latinx and Mexicanx in the second age of Tolkien, Cimaralian.
Good stuff. Good stuff all around.
I'm so proud of you, Polly. They're saying.
Yeah.
Hey, it's time we get behind the X. Way behind. Everyone right now in the chat is doing Peru X. Like whatever you are, X, Tolkien X, do your X. Proclaim your X, Midnight's X. Jesse X, Tom X.
I'm wearing a helmet if I have to go to
Ooh,
this damn
Time X.
convention with you.
And that is how I feel X. Andre X.
Yeah, great stuff. Norway X.
Norway X sounds like a snowboard company.
And
Oh, here's a good one. Odin X and I'm White X. Mutant Bam Hammer.
this is awesome X.
No, you can't have America X. That sounds like American History X.
Texan
No,
X.
Jesse
Then. How
X.
about that?
Don't censor X.
Oh my God, the chat
Don't
is
censor
exploding.
X.
God, look at the chat, it's exploding.
Andrex sounds kind of cool.
Oh, that's a good one. Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex X.
Nice one, Ben Saxon X.
Oh, that's
Oh,
very, very nice.
We're gonna triple down on the X, triple X. Andre.
Norwegian X. I can't believe you said that.
Triple XX.
Absolutely X. They want diversity. We're gonna give them diversity X. We're gonna be at every panel, Andre. Every panel.
Mike, are you looking forward to joining Paulie for these diversity Latin X panels?
Okay. First of all, if I have to attend this thing, I'm wearing my Mexican Iron Man helmet every freaking session. There's no way I will be caught dead. And I mean, I'll show my face all over YouTube left and right. I'll turn on my camera. I am not attending this convention without my helmet on the entire time. Number one, because I might say something and they're going to throw something at me. And number two, I don't want to be identified in that group. Paulie, Paulie, I have nothing to add to this convention. What am I going to talk about?
Just make up stuff. That's what they do.
Well, here's like the thing: you don't actually have to say too much as long as you are there and you bring some diversity to the crowd. Then the rest of the Tolkien society will very much appreciate the tokenism.
Okay, so I'm going to be there for diversity and inclusion points. Is that what it is?
Yeah, kind of, because that's why they're doing this. I mean, this is the whole thing. Like, they're afraid that Tolkien is going to be attacked for being too white and too race and stuff like that. They're desperately trying to read anything
There's going to be a bunch of white folk
into it.
There's going to be a bunch of white folks sitting around talking about to other white folk how there needs to be more diversity and inclusion. Paulie,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be on the beach here or the private golf course or taking the yacht out here in South Carolina, bro. I don't know if I can make this event.
Look, you want to know how you get diversity? White people in the United States are 71 or 72% of the population. All we have to do is just have sex with everyone. Then eventually we'll all be one color and one race, and then they won't be able to pull any of this bullshit anymore. It'll be great.
Okay, well, I look forward to you taking action on that tonight, but not sending me the video.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my God, This is the best one ever. Look at that super chat. That's the 2 super chats that just came in, Andre.
Yeah, oh, brilliant. Let's see then. Here we go. We have SN441 who says, I identify as Medex. My pronouns are turtle and Viking. That's a nice one. And Samurai Vader says, Buen ex tardes, amig ex. Comex están ustedes, muchachos. That's brilliant stuff. I see what you did there, and I fully approve.
And then Paulie's out taking a break. He drops a bomb and then he walks away.
Oh, that's a wrong time to do it.
Total mic drop. Total mic drop. Oh,
indeed. Anyway, Jesse, how excited are you for this for learning about all this diversity in Tolkien that you never knew was there?
Well, he
more forward
so much time
to the
creating
Amazon
races.
series.
He spent so much time writing a story and creating new races that he forgot to paint everybody different colors. I don't know.
Yeah, good stuff.
That didn't seem important when he was actually creating beings.
Yeah, no, when he was creating beings based on the British Midlands and British culture and history, then yeah, it was very impressive that he was able to think so far ahead to to appease people worried about gender and inclusion in more than 100 years after he actually wrote his work. So yeah, he could good work on that. And
See, my question that made me scoff is that you said like the evil wizard Solomon was gay.
Yeah, apparently he's gay.
Where did that come up in the story? Because he was busy, being evil and beating up Gandalf, and then making that army. And
Oh, real fast! Someone said Carmex. Yes.
Carmax X.
No, Carmex. The lip balm, Carmex.
No.
No. Oh, yeah.
You're look it up, Jesse. It's like the best lip balm.
Yeah.
Carmex.
Yeah. Okay.
My mustache is covering my lips right now, so I don't even have them anymore.
Andre.
Those are some good ones. This chat is just like,
Look at the super chat.
they embrace the X, and so have we. We are tripling down on X-Mex, spandex, Kleenex, Crow's necks.
I do like Jaws X: The Revenge.
From the Lorex. Chapstick X. I mean, we should do a video, Andre, and just talk an X.
Yeah, I've heard worse ideas, so yeah, let's do it. It's going to be a good time.
I've heard worse.
Okay, Krusty Moko and Han Solo, stop. You're cracking me up. I can't even breathe right now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, as we go through the final of these super chats, Dash D's says, "Drop the bomb, then left to drop a bomb." You're all class, Paul. And Max says, "Ballistics." Yeah, indeed. And then we have, let's see what more I can bring up on screen. Oh, went too fast. Han Soles says, "I am now heavy X. My pronouns are fat and pie." Yeah.
I think that's going to trigger some people.
Yeah, well, not so much as this. Krusty Moko says, "Yo soy taco X, naco X, tamales X, y vato X."
Look at Andre, man. Hitting the Spanish.
Dude, Andre's gonna host Midnight Sage Espanol like next month when we go on vacation.
Hey, take it easy there, buddy.
Okay,
take
co-host.
We're gonna have to exify you in a minute. Mexican Iron Max. Oh my God!
Stop it.
And honestly, Andre, this all this news of the last couple of days has really kind of like upset me, and so this is a good laugh.
Yeah. Speaking of good laugh, Douglas Nelson on Twitter, he also did something really amazing here.
Oh, that's
speaking
nice.
of Thor, this is nice. Yeah,
Ooh, I like that.
Dope X.
So yeah, cheers, Douglas Nelson, for
I'll buy that shirt.
Some amazing artwork.
Oh yeah, that's an instant shirt. That's easy.
I'll buy that shirt.
That's very cool. Yeah, I'll be making a shirt of that. I'll be wearing it myself if no one else will.
Yeah,
so
and you could, because of the background, you could take him out and put him over anything.
And while that is gracing the background of the screen, I'm going to go through some more of these super chats. And Thanos 2024 points out, "To be honest, a dwarf was tossed in the Lord of the Rings." So yeah, there is of course that, and that even implicates the who was it? The one who did the tossing? Was it? That was a human, wasn't it? So
it was Aragorn.
Or was
He's like, "Don't tell the elf."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So there you have like some interspecies stuff as well. So
whoa.
Yeah, keep going. Good observation. An accidental tourist says, "I'm Yabex. I completely bleached myself." I'll be careful with doing that. And then we have, let's see, on the topic of what's on screen, Straight White Mage says, Wonder Woman had Mjolnir in comics. Did she? That's news to me, but you can do many things in comics. And Uncultured Barbarian says Hemsworth is likable. Thompson is not. Portman lately has been box office poison. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, it's her attitude.
And Dash D's says, sorry guys, it's not terrible. This could work. Please don't hurt me, in reference to the artwork. No, of course, if you like it, you like it. And let's hope that the movie will blow us all away. I'm not too optimistic, but let's hope that Taika Waititi still has his best movies ahead of him. And Just Bondo says, I propose the Stormbreaker grants some power, and only the stones can't work cross-dimension. Well, we shall see. And also on that note, Brightest Days says, you expected internal consistency? Fools. While Master Clockwork says, I can't speak for Batman, but I think we all know why Prince Eric doesn't go down. Well, unless he likes sushi. And on the topic of today's video, Madeline's Id says, just the ending of How I Met Your Mother sucked. No, there were many, well, I haven't seen too much of it, but I'm sure there's plenty more of it that sucked than just the ending. Although I think most people liked that show, from what I understand. And with that, we are fully caught up. So,
Cool.
With that, I'm going to go and stop the screen, bring us all back.
I did want to at some time just announce I have a guest tonight. So I would love to announce that before we're done.
Go for it. Yeah, we're done. Well, now is the time.
Okay, great. So I'm doing a top 5 films of Robert Rodriguez. And of course, the number 1 is Desperado. And we have one of the actors joining us. And if you go to my Twitter, I have pinned it, who the actor is. And 6 p.m. Pacific time tonight. And he was handpicked by Rodriguez himself he basically discovered him. And he's been acting ever since. And he is stopping on in. Pretty excited.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah, I'll put it in the private chat here. And yeah, he's like, he's a kickboxing actor and all that stuff. So I thought it'd be cool to invite him, since we were talking about no, it's not. Yeah, rest in peace, Sex Machine. It's not Danny Trejo. He's soon, but this guy's an action kickboxing actor who's been working for decades, and so he'll be joining me tonight on Latino Slant with Loki and Mandy Summers. We're gonna count down the top 5 Robert Rodriguez movies, and this actor here, his name is Robert Arevalo, kickboxing actor, will be joining us, and he's really cool dude. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's filming right now, in fact. So yeah.
All right, very cool. Everyone, be sure to check that out over at Latino Slant.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, perfect. And then, Tom, are you with us? Tom is not with us right now.
Mexican Iron Man is.
Yeah, because we have one more thing here. We have, let's see if there's a way I can bring this up. Just gonna check here, because we have something else that came up in the last moment here. It's not anything good whatsoever. It's another trailer for Star Trek Picard Season 2.
Oh no!
Oh yes.
I just got in a good mood again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to Surfshark it, because this one, of course, is geo-blocked. so that I can't bring it up because I'm not in the US. And this trailer is evidently made only so that people in the continental United States can see it on account of it being a CBS All Access exclusive.
If you put it in a private chat, I could
guess
share
right
it.
now. What was that?
If you put it in the private chat, I could share it.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Just give me 1 second here. Because I was also just going to Surfshark it and change where I am in the world, because that would also bypass it. But in the meantime, yeah, I'll put it in the private chat here.
See, I don't even know what that is. I knew you were some kind of Eastern European villain.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go. Let's see, just have to find America. There we go. There.
Okay.
I am now in America, but Jesse Miller has already put it up, so it's perfect. And then see if
you want me to read this one?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Paramount Plus has unveiled a new Star Trek Picard Season 2 trailer that sees Patrick Stewart and his crew face off against the time-manipulating Q. I already have bad feeling about this. Created by Akiva Goldsman, Michael Chabon, Christian Bale, and Alex Kurtzman, the series is set 20 years after the events of the titular hero's prior appearance, Star Trek Nemesis, as he is affected by the death of Data and the destruction of the planet Romulus seen in 2009 Star Trek film. The first chapter in Kurtzman's expanded universe was a smash hit, receiving rave reviews from critics and garnering 5 Primetime Emmy Award nominations and 1 win. Thanks to the positive fan reception to the series, even prior to its
positive
debut.
fan reception are very troll.
This is
I will
bullshit.
say though, before we move on, that it does confirm something that we reported on early on, that this is a series that happened because Akiva Goldsman had a big part in it. Because notice that now his name was the one front and center.
Yeah.
So yeah, but let's go down to the trailer itself.
All right.
I just played from. Just when you thought we had enough time travel shenanigans on Loki, we get this. All right.
Why is Q old? Why is Q old? He's like he's another entity. He's like a force of nature almost. He's a god essentially. He can alter everything, but he gets old. That doesn't even make sense in any sort of logic.
Amen.
They could have just gotten some Just for Men, and everything would have just. My suspended disbelief would be intact.
Amen. God, that trailer sucked.
I'm glad I missed it, I guess.
You did see Jerry Ryan go up to the mirror and go, "Why am I getting crow's feet? God, I'm over 40."
I was saving it for my actual reaction, so
why,
I didn't actually see it.
Why don't I have a husband, and why should I buy a dog?
Oh, that's a whole other story. Wasn't her husband crazy?
No, he was. What was her name? His name was Chipotle, right? No, wait, hold on. Whoops. I keep doing it. Chicotle. Sorry, not Chipotle.
I thought I had read this whole thing about how her husband was like some kind of controlling pervy guy or something.
Well, I originally got my rant start on Doomcock's channel, where for many months on end, I would pop up once or twice a month. He'd bring me on specifically for Star Trek rants. Late 19, was it 19 and 20? Yeah, 2019, early 2020. And I just don't care anymore about they've killed Star Trek for me. I will watch nothing that comes out anymore. Nothing. I just started rewatching DS9 again recently. I don't know. So sad.
Yeah, and again, they just completely killed it in the last season with making him a robot and everything. So Picard is dead now. I mean, the series is pointless. It's not even him. It's a copy. It's a robot copy of him. So unless Q is going to fix that, and the time travel is all about retconning the whole last series, which would be a good Kurtzman Trek tradition by now, because every season of Star Trek Discovery retconned the previous seasons. They would just like continue that correction, or so that direction of course correction after course correction. So yay, good stuff. And,
I want to point out something overall about losing the feel, because if you go back to the original series, you had a certain. I'm big on color palettes and things because colors represent things and they're very important, even though people don't really think they are. But it used to be bright, it used to be colorful, and now look at everything. It's just black on dark blue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't even feel like this takes place in the Star Trek universe. When I saw that trailer, the first thing that popped into my mind was the movie The Cell with Jennifer Lopez and Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yes.
They're like, okay.
If only this was that good.
It's like, yeah, you guys recreated the kitchen from Generations. Good for you. Good for you. You hired a carpenter who knew what he was doing. Good for him, actually.
Yeah.
So, see, like, to me, that's pandering, because that's pandering to every nerd who used to like this. It's just like, oh, that's the scene where he asked him for the dill.
Let's
It's
do
like,
a
no, just get out of here with that shit.
Hey Jesse and Tom and Under, let's do a live chat reaction to the trailer. A 0 if you hated it, a 1 if you liked it, and you're gonna watch it.
Yeah. All I know after watching this is I'm done. I can't take any more of this shit.
Did you watch any of Picard last year?
Oh, are you kidding me? We tried to.
We're still traumatized from it. Honestly, you know what?
I listened to the Geneva Convention.
That's why I can't believe you guys watch shows that you know are going to suck.
Yeah. Here's like
just
the
like,
thing, that this trailer, honestly, there's nothing wrong with this trailer per se. You know what's wrong with this trailer? Picard season 1 and where it left off. That's what's wrong with this trailer, because there's no fixing it. And that's
let's say hypothetically speaking, let's say that this second season was the best thing since sliced bread and you really enjoyed it. Would you even be able to enjoy it knowing that it's built on all of this other stuff and just legitimizing
only if there is time travel that goes and completely retcons everything else and says, you know, all that other stuff the last 5 years never happened. I'll enjoy it if that happens.
Well, it looks like it might even go farther than that, because you have 7 of 9, and she has never had her implant, evidently. And then she looks
so
at
they're
her.
going to erase all of Voyager?
I don't know, but did you notice that at the end of the trailer?
Oh my
there?
God, no, I didn't see that at
and
all.
She has an older badge or whatever. It looks like a Klingon badge.
I didn't even notice she didn't. I didn't even notice. I was what?
Yeah,
No.
let me bring it back up here.
No, come on.
If I can't, never mind. My computer's not working. Watch it again. But yeah, at the end, because she keeps feeling her face. Because she looks in the mirror.
She grew up on Earth. She never left. Her parents were research
She
scientists.
never became Borg, apparently, is the implication of it.
6.
What's 6 say? What's 6 say?
Her breast implants?
No, she didn't.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, you get somebody who looks like Jerry Ryan and you're not showing her off properly. What are you thinking?
You're putting her in a potato sack. All women can be beautiful, even in a potato sack.
Daddy Dreet does bring up that it may have been removed in the future. That's plausible, but the way she kind of just reacted to it, it was like, wait, something.
No,
She woke up, then it wasn't there.
But here's the problem. If you go with the time travel thing, you don't wake up and remember you were in another timeline. You're just in another timeline.
Yeah,
but she looks over.
Never happened. Exactly.
Yeah, but she looks over at that badge and she's like, "What the fuck?" Because I think it was a Klingon badge, if I'm not mistaken. But I only watched it real quick.
What?
Yeah.
That was a what? No. Oh God.
Go back and look. Yeah, because I only watched it the one time and I can't get my computer to do shit now.
What show are we talking about? Loki?
No, all of them. Polly.
What, man?
Keep up here, brother.
You missed it.
It was a joke. Thank you, Jesse, for getting it.
Hold my hand, Paulie. I need your support right now. I'm having a rough show here.
Bro, all these shows are the same.
Anything on any of these stories is time travel.
I don't know.
Wookiee's
it wasn't
dead. Let's give
Klingon?
him a
Okay.
TV show.
Okay.
I couldn't tell, John Williams. I watched it real quick. It
Prince
was on my
Prince
phone,
Andrew
so.
comments that based upon the trailer he sees, that her measurements are now 32, 25, 38x. Thank you, Polly. 38.
Okay, well, if it wasn't Klingon, then what? Because it wasn't.
Oh no, it's
the hell
Klingon.
wasn't.
It's Klingon. I'm looking at it. It's Klingon.
They're telling me it's not in the chat.
No,
Well, you need something really obvious that,
It's
like,
something.
you go back in time and everything looks great, but oh, wait a minute, this timeline is not right. So
I don't know. Well, that's just it.
It's not going to be anything you haven't seen before. Let's put it that way.
Klingon X.
On that note, we have a couple of super chats, commenting on this.
And I got an eye doctor appointment, so let's get through them, please.
Yes, Willie Woodward commented on the picture of me. Andre looks like an angry dwarf cosplaying as Thor. Oh, well.
You'll have to touch me.
And Paulus Plain, our good Norwegian friend, says for 69 krona, my gender pronoun is SpaceX. And Erik Runge Madsen says for 100 Danish krona, tusen takk, there is already gay World War I poets, Siegfried Sasson and Wilfred Owen. Let's forget them and ring Tolkien's works like a wet rag, searching for rainbow people, instead of remembering actual cultural icons. Yeah, there you go. That's a very
and they're
good
saying
point.
it's it's a Romulan badge. That might be it.
And Golgo13, aka Brandon the Infinite Wolf, says more time travel Star Trek shit show. Yeah, that's kind of like what it looks like.
We need a whale. Someone go get us a whale, please.
And Troy Pacelli says another Star Trek bait and switch. That's why they brought in Q. They get the fans thinking Q gonna fix everything, and then nope. Yeah, I think they're going to retcon the last season and then screw up in another tremendous, horrible way. That's what I think. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Q could do anything he wants with the snap of a finger, but for some miraculous, unknown reason, he's not going to be able to affect this situation. So he's going to have to go to the Picard for help, even though Picard is just a simulation of Picard. So a simulation computer Picard is better than Q, who is a god, because that makes sense. That's my guess for this show. Then they're going to kick it back to before, what was it? If it's a Romulan badge, it's going to kick way back in time, probably about 10, 15 years, I think. So that everything's just going to be a shit show. I think instead of trying to fix what they did, I think they're going to just eliminate more of what was used to be canon or old canon.
You might be right.
Get rid
you
of
might be
more
right. That's what I'm worried about too, Jesse.
Yeah. You're going to take the old government highlighter to the whole series.
I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think it fucking matters at this point. And yeah, Dirty Monkey, Soul Monkey. That's what we said. The whole reason they bring Q in is just so they can make him human again anyway. But moving on. Do we have a few more super chats here, Andre?
Yeah, we have a couple more. Gran Wasu 42 says for €5, apathy is the worst. When you are angry, then there are feelings and a sign you care. Trek is done by any means. I watch Deep Space Nine as well and love it again. Yeah, well,
there you go.
And Durao On sent a little super sticker of like the little pear guy, so thanks for that. And with that, I believe we are caught up.
Did we actually get out of here before the 3-hour mark today?
Yes, depending on what happens next, we might.
Okay, well, I don't think there's any more breaking news except for my computer breaking. Yeah, and it's not just Google, it's everything. You know? So
Yeah. When it rains, it pours, is what I always say. So yeah, of course it is. We need to get you a new one.
Yes, if anybody would like to send $1,000 super chat right now, directed at Tom, we'd all love you very much.
I do have expect anybody to do that.
I do have a protest song that I want to sing in light of recent events.
Well, go for it.
Is it the Mexican American song by Cheech and Chong?
I do like a good ditty.
It's another one, and everyone's welcome to join me.
Is it Latinx?
Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Beaners! Beaners! Like to eat Beans. Thank you. Protest song.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find outstanding moments in creativity at Latino Slant, the most new and upcoming channel on YouTube.
And then Andre's probably like, "What the fuck is that?" It's like,
Hey,
Wasn't he just going,
he agreed to it. Yes.
Beaners?
I say, of course, Jesse would know how to play it.
Well, it's the old Chuck Berry riff.
Yeah, I know. Well, I told you you're good at guitar. You just don't want to admit it. But anyway, yeah, Andre, that's from Cheech and Chong.
That I still haven't seen, but it's on the list of things.
Oh, well, you better
We
see
did
Born
get
in East
one
LA.
more-
Yeah,
I
Born
have
in
it.
East LA is
I
a
have
great
it.
movie.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
can't
funny.
wait to see it. I do have that as first of the Cheech and Chong, even if it's just Cheech that I intend to see. I can't wait to see that one. So I'll get that done now in the next few weeks here. And Paul Putter contributes to the new computer fund for the 35 South African rand, saying Star Trek died when the scimitar blew up. Well, Enterprise carried on for a little while longer, but yeah, you're not wrong. That's certainly where the future stopped.
I'd like to say in that there's only one person that really got my protest song, and Marcus Daxamuli, who doesn't like beans.
Exactly. I got it.
All right. That's my
I always
protest song is
get
for
it.
everyone.
Good
If you don't have beans, you got no chocolate.
Mike will be the first to tell you I'm just a light-skinned Irish Mexican.
Yeah, but you are, but emphasis on the Mexican X part of it, according to
Mechanics.
He still can't dance, though.
You think you even say that word better than me?
Mexicanidad, Mexicanidad.
And with that, I can't get to the koalas in the rain, Andre.
Oh,
I can't even end the broadcast as far as that
I
goes.
can do it. Where's up?
I can't do shit.
Oh, you're still logged in? Well, yeah, sure, cool. Otherwise, I can do it. But if you
Like
got it,
none
then
of my
perfect.
buttons are working on anything.
You do it, Andre.
Yeah, okay, I'll do it. I get it here.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, there we go. So, with that, before we go, I just want to say thank you to everyone in the panel for joining me today. It's awesome to have you here for the duration, especially to you, Mike. It's been an absolute blast to have you here and have you share your stories of everything
Actually, this was
relating
kind of
to Mexican matters.
This was
And
kind
thank
of
you,
cool.
Jesse, for coming to join us. Paulie, of course, always. And I would not like to extend a thanks to Tom's computer for
No
being
shit.
a complete pain in the
But I
ass
want to thank these
and
guys for
begging
hopping
for
in
replacement.
because it was kind of like a quasi Midnight's Edge After Dark thing here. Kind of took over the main channel today. So if you enjoyed what we saw, check out Midnight's Edge After Dark. Because Paulie and Jesse and sometimes Mike and I'll do this every Tuesday and Thursday along with Script Doctor. So check us out.
Yes. And
Staying at that,
Hey, boss, I have
5
one last thing before we sign out.
60,
Go for it, Mike.
I can't remember.
Oh, thanks for not firing me this morning, and Tom, thanks for not taking me out behind the taco truck. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and overall, there are 5 Midnight's Edge channels.
We have a taco truck.
I was kidding. Yeah, there are 5 channels now, right? There's Live, Midnight's Edge, After Dark, Espanol. What's the 5th one?
Archives, radio.
Oh, that's right. Right.
Radio is tangentially adjunct to Midnight's Edge.
Whatever.
To use an Amy Pascal quote.
Yeah, it's adjunct to After Dark.
Yeah.
Nice.
Otherwise known as a great place to bother Tom.
I knew a Puerto Rican adjunct.
I play a lot of music that I know Andre will like, thinking someday he'll stumble in there and he'll be like, I really enjoyed your set, but you need more Rammstein.
See, all music sets need some Rammstein.
Yeah.
And with that, I also would like to say thank you to everyone who's been watching us today for coming to take time of your day to join us, to support us with your super chats, to just engage and be here and be part of the community. We couldn't do what we do without you. And with that, I'm just going to do one final check, see if there has to come any more super chats that we missed, because we wouldn't.
I only see one, but I think we grabbed it.
No, we
missed one.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we missed two. Joel Rice says for €2. Okay, Tom, just 998 to go. Good luck. Yeah. And Game Lover 2222 says, have you heard the rumors that Quantum Leap might be coming? And I can't get the rest up here.
Coming back.
Might be coming back. Scott Bakula just finished his job on NCIS. And they are
actually with Scott
considering all
Bakula
shows to reboot.
There is been some rumblings. I don't know how legit, but I wouldn't. I think NBC owns that, so I wouldn't be surprised if Peacock does like a short revival, because they never did technically finish the show.
Yeah, I have the whole show on DVD, and I started watching with my son, but we didn't finish it yet. Did he ever make the leap home?
The last episode is sadly should have wound up in one of those worst ending categories, because they literally poochie his ass at the end.
Wait, what?
Well, from my recollection, and I wish Script was here because I think he knows this better, but they had like a disagreement over the final season. They were going to come back and finish it up, but then they didn't let them. So like literally at the end, there's like this title card that says Sam never made it home. So it's like really fucking depressing. It's like, that's really how you're going to end the fucking show. So hopefully
there's so many great episodes of that show. They just screwed them like that.
Yeah. Well, and it had something to do with a sacrifice for what's his face? The guy who's always with him. Now I just blanked on his name.
Sam.
No, so the guy who's always helping Sam. Al.
Al, yes.
It had something to do with saving Al, and then like at the end, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but like I just remember they just have this like title card saying, he never made it home.
So they basically did one of these things where it's like, okay, you can either make it home now, or you're going to get thrown even further into the quantum realm where you're going to be farther from home.
And maybe that's where they'll pick it up and fix it from there, and that would be cool. Because like I know there was some kind of like dispute behind the scenes that. Yeah, that's why. Because the show had great ratings. Because remember how this is how Script told me, it had great ratings to start with, but then the show was way too expensive by like whatever was the third or fourth season. So they were having a lot of disputes behind the scenes and stuff, and the ratings weren't as good. So yeah, he saved Al's marriage. That's the other thing.
I used to watch that all the time in its original airing too. That was like one of the go-to shows, man.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of bad endings, check out our recent video. Right, Andre?
Yes, we dropped a video earlier today about everything that went down this weekend with James Mangold freaking out on Twitter, and we compared and contrasted that with other famous Twitter meltdowns, such as the ones by Paul Feig and Josh Trank, to name but a few. So do check that out. And with that, again, one more time, I would like to say thank you to everyone in the panel for joining me, and Tom, and no thanks at all to his computer, but a huge thanks to everyone that has been watching and taking time to be with us today in the chat. We'll be back again on Friday, and in the meantime, check out Paulie over at Latino Slant, because you have an interview later tonight, don't you, Paulie? Paulie's muted or left, but
yes, I do. Sorry, I thought we were closing up. Yes, tonight, and then on midnight. So tonight's Desperado, Raul Rodriguez. We have a guest actor coming on through who was in the movie on Latino Slant. Tomorrow, Midnight's Edge Espanol. The guys are gearing up for a couple of extra videos we're going to be doing, including some controversy over the actor Tenoch Huerta, who was cast as Namor. There is some.
Is this official now, or is this still? Because everything
that's official, but the controversy we're going to cover is coming up and is new old news.
I was going to say they're still not quoting that one Illuminati thing.
Illuminati. There's been some other
because I wouldn't consider that a confirmation of anything
There's
necessarily.
been some. I think there's been some other outlets as well.
All right.
But
Well, I know a lot of the ones I looked at because somebody brought it up to me and they were quoting the Lerminerdi. But yeah, I didn't know if it was actually official yet.
well, we're going to be covering some other stuff with Tenoch, but going to be a good show tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific.
All right, excellent. Jesse, where can people find you?
I run a YouTube channel, so on here.
I'm
It's
Drunken
Jesse
Skipper.
Miller at the
No,
Crow's
just kidding.
Nest. I'm 13 subs away from 1,000, so hit me up. I run a very loose show. You're all invited to be on it. I dropped the link in the chat. Even if it's your first time and you've always been in the chat, you never come on, just come on anyway. We'll walk you through it, and you'll get to talk to people. It's fun. You might start your own channel the next day. That's happened a lot of times. So with that,
I pop
Next
in there
guy.
sometimes.
yeah, when you're not
And-
editing or not sleeping.
And with that, we got koalas in the rain, I hope, ready.
Koalas in
We did.
koalas
Oh.
in the rain.